Hello everybody and welcome to the webinar. You're listening to Mark Ling and you're here to learn the new twist on $1 billion webinar strategy. First, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to join us for the webinar. Our goal is to make it an extremely worthwhile 90 minutes of your time. I've known Joel for a while now and he's one of the nicest and smartest people that I've had the pleasure to work with, and that's saying a lot. One thing you should know is that there are a small number of helpful people who really know the webinar model like Joel does. In fact, a lot of the big gurus regularly come to pick his brain and get his opinions. So even though Joel is not necessarily a household name, among insiders he's highly respected and well known. As he started in the webinar business, Joel was not an instant success. He tested and tweaked his way to the top and created a bulletproof system that he and his students have done extremely well with. In fact, over the last couple of years, Joel has sold millions of dollars in products using webinars. He's built a massive list that has created near $1 million in income, and he's highly sought after as a joint venture partner too because of that list. And the fact that Joel can regularly put 1,000 or more live bodies on a webinar is also very impressive. So you're in for a treat because Joel's about to share some extremely valuable information with you today. So get out a pad and a pen, close down the distractions that you might have, and get ready to take a lot of notes because he's going to cover a lot of material in a short period of time. And real quick, I just want to tell you something pretty amazing about Joel. In fact, I'm in awe of it. Joel can drive a lot of traffic. How much? Well, I'll let Joel show you here, and this is important because not only does Joel teach you how to make a lot of money with webinars, he will show you several ways to pack your webinars with the right kind of people. So let me introduce to you Joel and let him show you something mind-boggling. Welcome along, Joel.
Hey, well, thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me here. Glad to be here. And you know, I've been driving traffic for a long time. And let me show you what you were just talking. You just mentioned about some of the traffic that I've done. I just thought I'd kind of pop this up here to let everyone see. This is an actual screenshot from my AdWords account. And as you can see, I've generated 29 million clicks at an average price of 1 penny each. And that's not all, Mark. I've generated millions more with other strategies. And in fact, I'll show everyone here in just a few minutes some of these strategies. But first, I want to make sure that you get the most out of this training, everyone. Right now, like you just said, Mark, right now is a great time for everyone to put away your distractions, close down your Twitter, your Facebook, your chat, your email, your phones. Gosh, close down the kids if you can do that. There's so many things these days that distract us, Mark. Everyone's going to want to really pay attention to this because I've got some amazing content to share with everyone. So again, thank you, Mark, for inviting me on here. I know we've talked about this for a while now about coming out and training and teaching your groups. So hey, we're finally here. We're finally doing it. So thanks, Mark. All right, we've got a lot of questions coming in, so let's go ahead and get into why you're here today. I know you guys and gals are really intelligent, and thank you for being here. And by now, you've probably seen a lot of claims for marketing products that really could seem a bit outlandish. And I'm sure you've taken a lot of trainings, read a lot of books, and thought about marketing day and night. And I really admire that because I've been there myself. And I'm sure you're looking for something that makes sense out there. And that's why I'm telling you that the following claim may seem like a stretch to you, but I assure you that it's not. I've seen it happen time and time again, and I'll prove it as we move along. So what will I show you? Well, I will show you how you can make 6 figures in 6 months on cruise control for under $2 grand using the insider system the gurus would rather I keep under lock and key. Now, does that sound like hype? I mean, I suppose it could, but that's about to change. You see, you are capable of much more than you think, and with that, you're about to learn with me that with a little elbow grease and a dose of focus, I'm confident that any reasonable, intelligent person can be making bank with this strategy right now. And if you think that the whole system, the gurus would rather I keep under lock and key is a little hypey, I'll tell you of some conversations I've had with some very well-known marketers who are, this one particular marketer is making millions with a single product using this system. And he's kind of worried, Mark, that this could come, be worn out like product launches if too many people learn it. And he's not the only person. I know a lot of other people who are kind of laughing their way to the bank, but the really cool thing about this system is there's a lot of room for more to do the same. And by the way, I'm being conservative on the 6 months. Several of the people who have taken my training have made 6 figures in 2 months. But I know everyone is a little different in how fast they can get things going, so I think 6 months is very reasonable. Now, you may have noticed the red asterisk next to where it says 6 figures. And of course you know that means there's going to be a disclaimer coming. Well, I guess it's a disclaimer of sorts. It's actually a disclaimer for more experienced marketers who already have a product. And if you do, this strategy can easily get you to the elusive 7-figure mark and even more. So I'll tell you, this isn't hype either. In fact, several of my friends have been using my materials that's helped them create 7-figure businesses with just a bare-bones staff. So I hope I have your attention here. Yeah, I knew I would, because what I'm about to show you is the future of high-ticket sales, and I want to promise you something about this webinar. I, Joel Peterson, will give you as much as I can pack into the next 90 minutes so you can start using a proven cutting-edge strategy as soon as 24 hours after completion of this webinar. That's a promise I intend on keeping, everyone. What I want you to realize is I'm only able to give you so much in 90 minutes, but it's enough to create a plan for putting this powerful strategy to work for you. And here's the best part, everyone. You don't need a product. In fact, I'll show you how to cut lucrative deals with product owners that create true win-win scenarios. You don't need a big subscriber list because I'll show you my top strategies for free and paid traffic. You don't need much experience. This is a simple strategy that I'll show you step by step, just the basics. And finally, you don't need a big bankroll because I'll show you how to use 21st century currency that gives you true leverage. So is that fair enough, everyone? Now, of course, if you have some of these in place right now, this strategy will boost your current conversions and profits through the roof. But even if you're a raw rookie, you should start seeing results quicker than just about anything that I know. So the stage is set. Now, before I get into the specifics, I want to tell you a little bit about how I came to discover this strategy. I think that's important because I know these days there are a lot of teachers out there who only talk the talk, but they've never really, kind of walked the walk. So, look, there are a lot of these gurus out there, and I've never really looked at myself as a guru. In fact, I'm really more of an underground guy. So chances are good that you don't really know much about me. So by now, Mark, you kind of gave me a quick little introduction, and we showed you a little bit about some of the traffic I've given, and I'll talk a little bit more about my story here in a minute. But the billion-dollar strategy that we're going to be talking about today is webinars. But what you don't know is the new twist, and I'll share that with you here in just a few minutes. Hey, I also wanted to check with everyone to make sure everyone can see the slides. If you see the slides advancing, Mark, are you there? All right, good. Everyone's seeing it. We have a
there's I did have one person say that they froze up on them, so hopefully I fixed that up with them, but everyone else says it's all good. Cool.
Sounds good. All right, now of course, you probably guessed that I'll be making an offer at the end of this webinar, and I'll show you how you can get my webinar income system for free. So you want to stick around for that. But before we get into the webinar specifically, I want to share with you some of the frustration points that have slowed me down when I was getting started, and also the biggest lesson that I learned in my marketing career. I learned that marketing from info products were some were really good and some were not. And I quickly learned that if you bought products that did not deliver, now you know that a $97 product or even a $297 product, no matter how good it sounds, is probably not going to be the catalyst that gets you making a full-time living online. I also learned that tactics can only take you so far. As I will show you in a few minutes, you should be skeptical of magic pill marketing products because there really isn't a magic pill or a button that you can just push to make money. And if your risks have not paid off yet, you've probably learned, like I did, how to make smarter and more informed choices. In fact, this is the point where people really need to start thinking like you're the CEO of You Incorporated, You Inc. And what do all good CEOs know? And by the way, this really changed my world. CEOs think in terms of systems. And that's because links in the chain can fail, but as long as the system holds up, the business will never fail. If you learn anything on this webinar, make sure this sticks, because systems are strategic. The right strategy makes any tactic work better, and the right strategy puts less pressure on executing your tactics perfectly. So the next step in my career was to rethink my strategies after things radically changed in online marketing. In fact, it was this question that literally forced me to reinvent my business. The question: what do you do when you're sick and tired of Google wiping out your business every few months? All right. You see, I relied heavily on traffic tactics, but Google had other ideas for me. You know, it was getting harder and harder to drive traffic with Google, and a lot of the things that made me successful up to that point were no longer working, and I really had to do something different to focus on my future. So after looking at technology, talking with colleagues, and looking closely at what was working and what was not, I came up with a new strategy that changed my focus. I changed my focus because I wanted to build a business that was a little more solid, something that was stable, and something that I could actually sell if I wanted to in the future. So in August 2009, I made the decision to really focus on webinars. And of course, I had other things in my business that were going on, and they were all doing okay, but from all of my research, I was convinced that webinars would produce a business with a lot fewer ups and downs. So, and I was right. Within 6 months, Mark, I sold over $1 million of product, and I also built a list in that 6-month period of time that did over $800,000 in sales. That's $1.8 million in sales in 6 months, all deriving from the webinar strategy. Now, granted, I had a list, I had relationships, I knew the market, and I'm not saying anyone could produce these kind of numbers right out of the chute. And I also want to say, listen, everyone, I wasn't making money in my underwear, as a lot of marketers say out there, but I did have to hustle to make this kind of money. Well, was it worth it? Well, you tell me, would you be willing to supply some elbow grease to make $1.8 million in 6 months? And please type your answer in the questions box. Would you be willing to supply some elbow grease to make $1.8 million in 6 months? Yeah, several people would. Of course you would. By now, you probably guessed then that the billion-dollar strategy is webinars. But what you don't know is this new twist, and I'll share that with you here in just a few minutes. Now, are webinars a good long-term business model? You bet. Webinars leverage human nature, and that's because people would rather attend an event than read a long sales letter or watch a video with the progress bar removed. Are webinars profitable? Yes, they are super profitable. Out of anything that I've done, webinars have been the most profitable in the shortest time frame. And so yes, 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 webinars have been the most lucrative and profitable business model that I've used. And that's one of the reasons why I shifted my whole focus into webinars. Well, how profitable are they? How would you like to see this after a few days after doing a webinar? And feel free, as we go through this webinar, to type your question in the questions area, your answers into the questions area. Now, this was definitely one of my better webinars, but it shows you what can be achieved. Now, a lot of people are asking me, why I'm showing how I do this. And after all, shouldn't I just be producing webinar after webinar after webinar? Well, of course I should, and I do. I have a number of webinars working on autopilot right now. And I'm working on even more in a number of niches with several different business partners. So what I'm going to be teaching you is how to do, webinars are rewarding in other ways as well. That's what I want to teach you. I love it when I've helped someone start making money online, and then my students come up to me and they end up also being good partners with me as well. And that's how you get a webinar empire going. You teach people, and you form relationships, and you do additional webinars with those students. So why do you think the time, why do I think that the time is right for me to do webinars right now, or why do I think the time is right for you to do webinars right now? Well, first of all, we're getting near the end of the early adopter phase. It'll probably last another year before it goes mainstream. Second, the technology available for doing webinars has gotten much, much better. And the technology for automating them is even more reliable than ever. And third, this all adds up to being at the tipping point. The people who are in early will reap the rewards. So let's get into why you're here today. Let me show you what I'll be covering. I'm going to show you 5 ways to make serious cash with webinars. Oh, and by the way, several of these ways were pioneered by myself. In fact, only a few people even know about them, and most of them are my students. So we're in for a real treat. You're in for a real treat, everyone, today, because you're going to be learning some strategies that very few people know about right now. I'm going to share some of what I've learned through testing that will get you quickly building your own profitable webinar business. And of course, I'm going to show you the new twist on the billion dollar strategy that is stirring up a lot of excitement in the webinar world. How does that sound? All right, good. All right, let's dive right into it. Let's start with the 5 ways to make money with webinars. The first way I teach is how I got started in webinars. It's really a completely new category that I came up with that hardly anyone knows about. It's a very simple business model because there's no products that you have to create. You don't have to do customer support. You don't have to get a merchant account. You don't have to have an email list. And you don't even have to be on the webinars. And now, of course, you can be on the webinar if you want to, but the thing is, everyone, you don't have to be. I'll share more about that I'll share more about that here in just a few minutes. But like I said, it was how I got started with a product called Keyword Rockstar that made millions of dollars and another $800,000 from the list that was generated in promoting that product. I think a lot of people are saying, hey, I want to run a webinar business, but there's one obstacle. You know, I need to get through first. I need a little help figuring out the best way to monetize them and get it going fast. And this is how you do that. The number one way of doing webinars is to become what I call a webinar promotion manager. What is a webinar promotion manager? Well, basically, you find products or you find product owners and create webinar sales funnels for them. That's exactly what I did when Google kept slapping me. I was used to making really good money, and I knew that there had to be a super fast way for me to get my business cranking in the cash. So I just kind of came up with this idea, and I used it for a product that I promoted, which I already mentioned a moment ago, called Keyword Rockstar. Well, here's how it happened. I found this guy named John Shugart who had some killer software called Keyword Rockstar. In fact, it's possible many of you have even heard of that software before. Well, what I did was I set up a deal with John, and I added some additional value to his product because his product was a little bit on the lower price side. And we decided, listen, we're going to add some value to your product. We're going to increase the price because you've underpriced it, and we're going to sell it via webinars. And here's the thing, my cut was 50% of that. Because John didn't have to do much other than taking care of the customer support, delivering the product. So it was really a good deal for him, and it was a good deal for me as well. So I basically became what I now call his webinar promotion manager. Mark, I don't know if Keyword Rockstar, I know you're familiar with that as well. A lot of people think I was the person who developed and was in charge of Keyword Rockstar. I was actually just merely the webinar promotion manager for that product.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah. So this is what's really neat about this, because you can be a webinar promotion manager for many, many other products. And here's the other thing. Almost all product owners want this service. I was recently at a mastermind where there was a lot of internet marketers there, high-end internet marketers, and I asked this question. How many of you have products that you're not promoting right now because you just don't have the time, or something you created and then you moved on to something else and it's just kind of sitting on the shelf? Well, raise your hand. And they almost all raised their hand. And then I asked, how many of you, if someone came to you and said, hey, I want to be your webinar promotion manager, I want to take your product and promote it via webinars and share 50% with you. They'll pay you 50% of all the product sales for doing that service. Well, they all raised their hands. In fact, they said, Joel, do you have any webinar promotion managers that we can have right now? Well, see, there's this huge demand for webinar promotion managers, and one decent webinar can easily bring in 5 figures. Would you like proof? Let me show you some proof of that. I talked to a student of mine recently named Dave Foran, and I said, listen, Dave, can you write a testimonial for me? I'm going to start promoting the webinar income system here pretty soon. Just give me your experience. Tell me what happened to you. And this is what he wrote to me, and what I'm showing you right now. And as you can see, Dave quickly built a 5-figure per month cash flow, and he's on his way to 7 figures. So nice job, Dave Foran. And I appreciate emails like this because I get really, really excited when I teach somebody and I see them applying and taking immediate action with what I've taught them. So, and he's also become very successful at it. So it's very rewarding to see that. So what kind of products or services does this webinar promotion manager model work with? Well, the answer is it works with many, many other kinds of products. If you see a hot niche or something that's selling on seminars, TV, direct mail, sales pages, etc., it will sell on a webinar. It's not just for internet marketing or make money products. I'll show you here in a few minutes a few different ideas on some of the different niches that you can get into. Well, here's the second way to make money with webinar. Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
I'll just quickly state, I've been doing webinars in other niches, like the dating niche, for instance, which is completely different to making money online, teaching guys how to get a girlfriend, girls how to get a boyfriend, how to save your relationship, build a better relationship, and it's been working incredibly well, webinars. In fact, you make so much more doing webinars than you do just sending people to a sales page, considerably more, 10 times as much. And I'm about to do it in the Learn Spanish niche. I've been doing it in other niches as well, in personal development, and I know of others that do it in other niches. So don't just think the make money niche when you think webinars. Think, it applies across the board. I'll let you carry on.
Yeah, you're one of the role models for this, Mark, because there's a handful of few people that really go into other niches with their webinars. So you're one of the role models for that. So I know our conversations from the past. You've done extremely well in other niches, and that's what I teach my students too. It's like, hey, don't just focus on the make money products. So yeah, exactly right. Thank you for mentioning that. Well, I want to get into the second way to make money with webinars. A lot of people are really anxious to do this. It's called local business webinars. This is where business owners pay you to provide ongoing webinars for them, and these webinars might be going daily, weekly, or monthly. Local marketing is really hot right now, but let me share with you a little dirty secret about local marketing. If you're doing stuff like SEO with them, or just to get these businesses on the first page of Google, once they're there, they usually fire you after a while. I know that may seem kind of odd, but it's true. They figure out, hey, listen, he got me to Google on page 1, and now I'll be there forever. They don't have a clue that Google changes all the time, and they don't want to continue paying for something that they think that they'll have next month or next year or next decade. In fact, going the SEO route alone is really a recipe for disaster when you're working with local businesses. I have a new approach, though, to this local business marketing that you probably have never heard of before. This is what you do. You look for businesses who are already getting traffic. They're already getting a lot of traffic, but they are flushing that traffic down the toilet because they don't know internet marketing. So this is what you do. You basically set up automated webinar sales funnels for them and then piggyback on the traffic that they're already getting to increase their sales dramatically. You see, most business owners have this mentality that if you build it, they will come. But what they really don't realize is that this is not true. You could build a really cool website, and they could pay for traffic to it. But if you can't convert that traffic into real customers, well, that's when they get discouraged. Well, that's where you step in. All you simply do is plug in a proven automated webinar sales funnel into their traffic that they're already getting. Then your client sits back and watches all the sales roll in. Hardly anyone is doing this right now. This is a totally untapped market that is wide open. From a sales standpoint, this one is brilliant. First, all you're doing is you're going after the low-hanging fruit. These guys know they're getting a lot of internet traffic, but they're not seeing the sales, right? They don't know how to convert that traffic. So they're very easy to convince. And second, you don't have to educate them nearly as much. You just focus on your presentation, on showing how to make that traffic that they're already getting much more profitable. So who needs this kind of service? Chiropractors, orthodontists, insurance agents, financial advisors, weight loss centers, plastic surgeons, weight loss surgery, real estate agents, the list goes on and on. Anyone who needs customers or clients or leads wants this service. And look, let me show you how to find these guys, and you'll see how easy it is right here. I did this search just a few days ago and searching for local CPAs, certified public accountants, and here's what I came up with. Now realize, this company is paying for the traffic, all right? I just typed in CPA Orem, Utah. This ad came up right at the top, and I know this is an ad. He's paying for it. He's paying for the traffic. Who would like to see how this company is flushing their money down the toilet? Who wants to see the landing page you get to? All right, let me show you what this looks like. Here's the landing page. Drum roll, please. You tell me, is this a good site? No, it's not a good site. This is typical of a lot of the local sites that these business owners are putting up. It stinks, all right? There's no benefits. It's all about how great they are. They have absolutely no concept about marketing or internet marketing. When people see sites like this, they just think, yeah, right, and they click away. Now imagine that you step in and you start plugging in a webinar sales funnel for them. Perhaps it's like when someone visits this site, it's like 5 ways to lower your taxes this year. Sign up for the free webinar, all right? Do you think that would make a huge improvement? It would. It definitely would. These kinds of companies are desperate for people who know the web and how to get them good quality clients from this web traffic, who know how to do webinars. Does this make sense? Yeah, there's no lead capture. We have people typing that in here, so it's just a terrible site. So you've already proven that they're going to spend money. You've already proven that they're eager and they're hungry. They just need you to come in and plug in a webinar for them. You're probably wondering how much you can charge for this kind of service. Well, you can charge $500 to $1,000 a month, and here's the thing. With webinars, your client will see immediate results. You're actually getting them red-hot buyers, and they'll not want to get rid of you because you're the one that's getting them the sales and the buyers. You're now a very quantifiable profit center for them. And here's the other beauty of it. You can automate everything. Let me repeat that because that's important. You can automate everything in this business model. Now, you've probably never heard of local business webinars, and that's because I'm the first one teaching this. But I've got some students right now who are doing these, and they're just cleaning up. And as you can imagine, the market is wide open right now. So let me explain, I want to get into and explain a few other ways that you can make money with webinars. And I know we have some people pretty excited right now about doing these local business webinars. But let me go ahead and tell you a couple other ways that you can make money with webinars. Of course, you can sell your own product. You may already have a product or a service that you want to promote via webinars, but maybe you've never really thought of doing it with webinars. And if you haven't, it's time to start. It can be one of the most profitable ways to promote your products or services. I'm going to share with you here in a few moments what price points work best for products, but if you have a product that sells well now with like long copy or a video sales letter, listen, I know from experience webinars will jack up your conversion rates about 10 times. And Mark, I know you can confirm that as well. You've done many, many webinars as well. Compared to long copy sales letters, would you say webinars have always converted better for you?
Absolutely. And there's a couple of, there's more than just that as a benefit though. You've got a couple of benefits. One is, yes, they convert better, but secondly, you build a better relationship with your list. So even people that don't buy at the end of a webinar, let's say they go through the webinar, they gain great value, and they don't buy. You know what? It doesn't matter because they now have a better relationship with you, and maybe months down the track, weeks down the track, they'll buy something from you in the future, and they may not have if they hadn't built that relationship with you and realized that you're someone that actually gives them a lot of genuine value.
Exactly. You're sharing content, you're sharing value, you're building that relationship, and that's what it's about. The number 4, let me get into the number 4 way to make money with webinars, and that's doing affiliate marketing webinars. Now, if you're already doing affiliate marketing, this is really a no-brainer. What you do is find high-profit affiliate offers, and then you do webinars to promote them. There are companies out there that will pay you $250 for leads for getting Forex leads. That's foreign currency trading leads. $510 for Paxil leads. That's a medication, everyone. $350 for home security leads. $288 for direct TV leads. That's not pretty bad, right? All you need to do is use your webinars to educate people, collect their names and email addresses, and you can be making a ton of money from these leads. So what you could do is you could have a webinar for, say, like Forex trading. You could actually deliver some really good content, and then at the end of that webinar, you basically give out the form, the CPA form that they fill out. And then you're going to be getting about 95% of the people to fill out that CPA form. So, you know, and of course, you know, if you're going to be doing this is what I always tell people, make sure you tell your CPA manager, your affiliate manager, what you're doing, because they're going to be wondering why you're getting such a high conversion rate from your leads that you're sending there. But they're going to be high-quality leads that you'll be getting to them. So it's a very unique method for doing affiliate marketing. Number 5 is network marketing webinars. Now, in MLM, recruiting has drastically changed. Back in the old days, you had to speak to one person at a time, or if you were clever enough, you could get a small group of people over at your house or something. But listen, things are a lot different now. With the internet, you can target people who are already interested in the network marketing business. With network marketing webinars, what you do is just set up auto recruitment funnels. You set up these funnels on the internet, and basically you're taking traffic from paid traffic, JV traffic, other SEO type traffic, and you're taking them through these funnels. While a lot of people in the network marketing industry are using webinars, they don't use them like this. They don't use webinars for auto recruitment. They just use it for little opportunity meetings for 1 or 2 people. But listen, if you want to auto recruit, it's a very, very powerful strategy if you're into network marketing or into the MLMs. And that's all 5. I'm sure there's more, there's more ways as well to make money with webinars, but these are the ones that I've seen my students have success with. Now, what do you want to do? I'd like to ask the audience here today, please type in the questions area, which one of these gets you the most excited? Do you want to be a webinar promotion manager, or do you want to do webinars for your own product or service, or perhaps you want to do affiliate marketing webinars or network marketing webinars, or perhaps you just want to jump into the local business webinars and be one of the first to offer these cutting-edge services that are super profitable. So let's take a look here, Mark. All right, we've got Samantha wants to do all of them. Chad wants to do 3 and 5. Kimberly, your own product or service. A lot of people want to do webinar promotion managers, affiliate marketing. Great. So, listen. Many of you want to be webinar promotion managers. Several of you want to do your own products. Like I said, I think it's really appealing to a lot of people. We have some chiropractors here that want to do chiropractic webinars. That's great. This is a new frontier, and there's a lot of money waiting for those out there who could do any one of these 5 methods. Okay. So now I mentioned that I've shifted my focus exclusively to webinars because it really is a long-term business strategy, and it's a very, very profitable business model. Now, let me show you here in a second why that's super profitable. I'm sure one of the reasons why you're here is to learn how to make money with webinars. Well, let me show you when I say that webinars are super profitable by this example right here. I told you I was the webinar promotion manager for a product called Keyword Rockstar. Now, this is a screenshot that shows how many registrations I got on one of the webinars that we did. This was a JV partner named Michelle McPherson, and she told me to expect a flood of registrations and to expect a lot of people on the webinar. I'm glad I listened to her because we were right. We had 1,576 people that registered for that webinar. 682 people attended that webinar. By the way, that's an attendance rate of 43%. Pay attention to that because I'm going to share with you just in a few moments how you can actually, after this webinar is over, I'm going to teach you a strategy to get into the 40% attendance rates right now with just a few things. But here's where it gets fun. I want to talk about the results of this webinar. This 90-minute webinar, we did $94,756 in sales. That was 84 sales out of 682 attendees. That was a 12.3% conversion on a high-ticket product. Now, I've sold high-ticket stuff with sales letters and videos, but I've never gotten this kind of conversion before, even when I hired top copywriters. In fact, most products that are over $997 sell at right about 1%. And that's considered a big success. If anyone here has sold high-ticket products, I'm sure you're going to confirm this. So are webinars profitable? Yes, they're super profitable. Out of anything that I've done in my online marketing career, webinars have been the most profitable in the shortest amount of time. And so it's been one of the most lucrative and profitable businesses that I've ever done. And that's one of the reasons why I shifted my whole focus into webinars. And that's why it could just be the strategy that puts you over the top as well. Now, here's one thing about that webinar, and that I want everyone to really understand. The product that I was promoting was not my product. I'm going to repeat that. Keyword Rockstar was not my product. I was the webinar promotion manager for that. I did not have to create that product. I had only met Michelle 2 weeks before we did that webinar, and from two weeks after that, we did a webinar that did $94,000 in sales. Now, of course, not all that was mine, but that's not a bad gross, right? There might still be a few people around here wondering exactly what a webinar is. So, well, of course, you're on one right now, right? So you must know a little bit about it. But as you can see, essentially, it's just a seminar delivered via different technology. People have been attending seminars for years and years and years, but now we're shifting into webinars where we can see, we can still deliver great content, but just do it online. It saves a lot of time and travel expenses. Now, any one of you can run a multi-million-dollar webinar business right from your home office, just like I do. The way to start out in the webinar business is to do them live. So I'm going to share some of the strategy we've been testing out and using over the years, and give you some of the basic ideas how to get started doing live webinars. So first, I want to show you what I call the web. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just want to quickly mention, for those that are sort of worried about doing live webinars, just keep an open mind when you listen to this. You don't have to do them live. I've seen people go ahead and just hire a voiceover artist to voice over a script, and you know what, they don't even put out the webinars live, they just put up a replay. And they do very, very well. But live, you'll learn a lot of things that Joel's going to teach you, and live definitely outperforms recorded by a significant margin, and you'll see why shortly. But I just thought I'd just mention, for those that are even afraid of doing live, recorded is definitely an option. It does work reasonably well, but just not as well, and you'll see shortly. I'll let you carry on.
And in the next slide, I'm going to show you how you can even do live webinars, and you don't even have to say anything. So thank you for bringing that up, Mark. Well, here's the thing. I want to show everyone right now my webinar sales formula. This is the formula that I spent 2 years, I spent 2 days teaching at a boot camp a year ago. I want to start right at the top here. What you do in this is you start out with a quality product or service, and then you add more quality content, then you add targeted traffic, and then you send that traffic to a webinar, then you make an offer, and by adding all these together, you'll have high earnings, repeat buyers, a large email list, and this all adds up to a very long-term business. So does that make sense? I mean, these are all pretty simple components right here. Never sell anything on a webinar that you don't want to own yourself. Teach quality content, send targeted traffic to your webinar, and then make them a good, relevant offer. Very simple, right? I have friends making over $1 million a year with live webinars just with this simple formula right here. Now, I get asked this next question all the time, all right? What if I stink at speaking, all right? And I always say, no problem. Get someone else to. You don't have to be the one speaking on the webinars yourself. So I always say, unless you like speaking, don't. And this kind of alludes to what you were just mentioning, Mark. You don't have to be the one speaking, all right? There's other ways to get around that. Now, it's not that difficult to get other people to speak for you. Let me give you some ideas of how you can do that. First of all, everyone knows someone with the gift of gab, or someone that likes to perform. You can usually cut deals with people like this to do the speaking. You prepare everything for them. They do the speaking. Simple as pie. Or if you partner up with another marketer, let him or her be the expert. Let them do the speaking. You just set everything up and run the show and do the deals. Once you decide, you've decided to start doing webinars, the first thing that you need is
one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry about that. I just wanted to quickly say one thing that I've told people that have ever asked me about webinars, like should I do the speaking, should I get someone else? I usually tell them if possible, try to do it yourself for 3 webinars and then make that decision. And 9 times out of 10, people surprise themselves and they find, wow, actually the first one went really sort of, bumpy, the next one went a bit better, and now I'm very, very comfortable doing them myself, and I prefer to do them myself. So,
you're right.
I think it's like swimming. Jump in, see if you can swim, give it a go. So I just thought I'd mention that. But yeah, I'll let you carry on. Sorry about that.
No problem. No, it all comes with a little practice. You're exactly right. Well, here's the thing. Once you've decided to do webinars, the first thing you need to do is have a quality product or service. Well, you already know that it doesn't have to be your own product, right? And once you know how to set up the webinar strategy, it's just a bit of research to find a good product and then contacting the product owners and presenting to him or her a win-win deal and partner with them. But remember this, if it's something you wouldn't buy, you shouldn't be promoting it. I think a lot of people have seen a lot of the get-rich-quick type products out there, and stay away from this kind of stuff. If you wouldn't be proud to own it, you shouldn't be promoting it, and that's not a way to build a long-term business. What kind of products or services sell on webinars? Well, this is not an extensive list. This is just a brief list. Stock investing, money and employment, network marketing, and insurance, real estate, pet info, video games, self-help, counseling, software, divorce, weight loss, contractors, referral marketing, coaching and consulting. The list goes on and on. I mean, Mark, you've already mentioned dating is a huge niche. I think a lot of people get surprised when they find out about, people run webinars on dating all the time, and they make money on those. And so it's a very good. You mentioned, what was the other niche you're getting into? Spanish? Learning Spanish, I think, or something like that. So great niche.
Learn Spanish is the next one I'm getting into. Yeah, Learn Spanish is the next one, but I've also I don't see it on there. Personal development is another niche that I've been doing webinars in as well, which is to do with like weight loss, relationships, mindset, all sorts of that whole sort of overarching world of it.
Right.
There are others as well. I'll let you carry on. Sorry.
No, that's great. It's great. I appreciate you sharing that. So here's the thing, though. But kind of like think about what Mark's promoting there. Notice how all of these products, they have something in common. People have a problem that they need a solution for. That's the kind of product you want to look for. You want to find a group of people that have a problem and they need a solution. If I'm a small business owner, I need more customers, and one of the ways I can do that is with referral marketing. If I'm overweight, I have a problem. I need a weight loss solution. If I'm going through a divorce, I need a solution to have a better divorce or to save my marriage. Do you get my drift here, everyone? A great product is one that provides a solution to people's problems. The bigger and more prevalent the problem, the bigger that your market is going to be. So let's talk about the price point of your product. I've done a lot of testing on this, and the best pricing for webinars ranges anywhere from about $297 to $15,000. And yes, I just said $15,000, and that sounds like a lot to a lot of people, but you know what? There are people out there raking in the cash right now with these type of offers. I was just talking to someone just recently on the phone the other day. He sells $15,000 coaching packages right from webinars. And here's the thing, 28% of his viewers purchase his $15,000 coaching package. And here's what's great about that model. He doesn't have to have hundreds of people on his webinars. He has 5 to 10 people on his webinars, and he does extremely well with those. So people are selling high-ticket products, lower-end ticket products. The sweet spot is about $497 to $1997, but again, it depends on what you're promoting and what you're doing. Now, the reason I bring this up, Mark, is a lot of people, maybe they've created a ClickBank product, and it's a $27 product or something. And that's great, but you know what? If you're going to take the time and effort to do webinars, you should be able to sell higher priced products than a $27 product.
Can I interject?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'll just let you know, though, yes, that's definitely the sweet spot from my testing as well. I 100% agree with you, but there's definitely always exceptions to every rule. And
yes,
in the personal development niche, there's a company out there, heck, I've forgotten the name off the top of my head now. It escapes me off the top of my head, I'm not sure why. But anyway, there's a company out there that does a webinar, they sell a product for $67 at the end of the webinar, and whenever I promote it, I make tens of thousands in commissions. I've got a friend of mine that's got a numerology list that's really, really big, and he makes over $100,000 in commissions when he promotes that product.
Right.
It's only $67, So, all I'm saying is, yes, these are general rules. They work 95% of the time. This will be the right pricing, but yeah, you can still run webinars and promote a really good $67 product, $47 product, and do well.
Yep,
You just need higher conversion rates. That's all.
You're exactly right. I know people that do, $1 trial offers on webinars, and 80% of the, people will sign up for it. And so, yeah, it's definitely there's several different strategies. But I guess the biggest thing that we try to get in people's minds is it works really well. It works really well. So there's different models that you can go down. Well, people are asking, what's the best time to hold a webinar? In fact, I saw a question just came just a second ago about that. Well, that really depends on your audience. You need to figure out where your target market is at certain times of the day. So if you're targeting business executives, the best time for them is going to be during the day, not in the evening when they're home with their families. I teach people how to make money on the internet. My target market is usually home in the evenings because a lot of people still have jobs, right? So Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern tends to be a good time for a lot of our webinars. But don't forget about international audiences, because if you're doing one at 9 p.m. Eastern, that's a terrible time for people in the UK because that's in the middle of the morning. But it's a decent time for people down in Australia or New Zealand. If you want to penetrate the international market, and you're doing live webinars, you're going to want to consider doing several different options. Maybe you do one at 3 p.m. Eastern, or you do one at 9 p.m. Eastern, and give people the opportunity to view it in their own time. And by the way, thank you if you're here on this webinar from around the world. I bet you we have some people, it's the middle of the morning for them. Thank you everyone who's connected, because like I said, we do these webinars all the time, and we have people, it's global, and that's the point I'm trying to get across, is you have a global audience on your webinars. Let's talk about traffic. I could hold a 3-hour webinar right now all about traffic, but since we have other things to talk about, I'm going to focus on one method right now. You need live bodies on your webinars, so you're going to need traffic. And one of the strategies that I teach you is about JV partner traffic, and this is some of the lowest risk, highest return traffic that you can get. So if you're going to start a webinar business and you have a product where there's a lot of people with large email lists, or they have large customer lists with emails, I highly recommend that you start with joint venture traffic. Well, how does it work, and what is JV traffic? JV, again, stands for joint venture. You find someone who's got that list, or someone who's got a customer base where they've sold a lot of products, and they've collected those emails. And by the way, let me tell you, there's a lot of product owners, and I'm not just talking internet marketing, there's a lot of people who collect this data and they never market to it. They don't realize how valuable these widgets that they've sold is, and as they've collected this data, these are some of the best people to do these deals with. I want to go over a couple case studies with some joint venture webinars that we've done, so you can kind of get an idea of how you can cut some of these deals. This page shows one of the partners that we did a Keyword Rockstar webinar with, and here's how we got to this point. The first this one is with one of our partners named Dave Gwindon. I set the foundation before I ever asked Dave to promote a webinar with us. Before I even talked to him, I kind of set my foundation, got to know him a little bit. I never ask people right out of the gate before I even know them if they're going to promote a product for me. And you'll want to make sure you do that as well. Set that foundation. Once you've set that foundation and it makes sense for both of you, we decided to do a webinar. I said, hey, Dave, we've got this webinar called Keyword Rockstar. We teach some valuable content. We're going to teach people how to drive traffic via AdWords. We've got a great presentation to show people how to do this, and then we offer a tool at the end for those that are interested in it. Well, here's the thing. Dave had never done a webinar before. We did a webinar, and we did $40,000 in sales. His goal at the beginning, he had told me he wanted to make $5,000. He almost doubled that to about $9,400 in profit. So he was really excited. That was one of the first webinars that he had ever done, and it was a great win-win solution for all of us, including his students that learned a lot of valuable content. I showed you this one already. This was definitely one of my best, $94,000 in change. Not bad for 90 minutes of work, right? Here's another one I did with one of our partners. We did $60,000 in over $60,000 in sales on a 90-minute webinar, and you can see the commissions there. A lot of the JV partners were super excited to promote these webinars because we followed the formula. We educated everyone, gave some great content. It was a win-win solution for everyone. And that's why I tell a lot of my students to start out with JV webinars, and I show you how to do this step by step. Once you get people to the webinar, or you've got people signed up to go to a webinar, you want to make sure you get a really high super attendance rate. The industry average for shorter webinars is about 20%, and more precisely, 20 to 24%. However, I average about 35 to 45% attendance rate on live webinars. In fact, some of my highest webinars have been in the 64%, even higher actually. I need to update this screen, in the 70% attendance rate. In this example, I show you this webinar we did with Michelle McPherson. We had 43% attendance rate. And here's a really hot tip right here to get more people on your webinars. Here's a little rule right here. It's called the 3-2-1-M1 rule. Follow this rule, and you can get high attendance rates in the 40%. Basically, when people register for a webinar, they need reminders. You're going to email them reminders for this webinar. And here's how it goes. You're going to email 3 days before, 2 days before, 1 day before, the morning of, and 1 hour before. That's what 3-2-1-M1 stands for. 3 days, 2 days, 1 day, the morning of, and 1 hour before. Now, that may seem like a lot of emails, but if someone has signed up for a webinar, they will thank you for the reminders. Now, why? Because they forget. Listen, we're all busy in life, and email reminders that hit you at the right time are a great way to help you remember things and to get to the event that you signed up for. But whatever you do, if you're doing webinars, like I said at the beginning of this webinar, you need to be systematic. I'm going to show you a flowchart right here. I'm going to show you a system, and I'm going to share with you right now how we are systematic about our webinars. So here's my system right here. I don't have time to go over this all in detail right here, but it would take me a couple hours to do that. But let me just kind of hit it at a high level. First, you want to have a registration page. Registration page will get people, this is where people are going to sign up for your webinar. And we send our traffic maybe through our JV traffic, or we send it through our paid traffic sources. Once people are registered for a webinar, then you need to remind them. You need to remind them of the webinar. And that's where the 3-2-1-M1 rule comes in place. And there's a lot of different ways to remind people how to get to a webinar. Well, many of our webinars, what we do is we hold what's called a pre-show. 1 hour before the webinar starts, we actually start the webinar. And we have a countdown timer going. And that's to get people there. And the reason we do that is we send out 1 hour email reminders, and many times we'll also send a SMS or message to people's phones if they've given us permission to do so, to remind them of the webinar. And what happens, Mark, is they get into the pre-show and they see that countdown timer. And then, the countdown timer gets to 0, we start the webinar, and then we go along our merry way, giving away our great content. Well, with that right there, I'm not going to go over the rest of this, but as you can see, we systematize everything. We just kind of know what's going to happen by the end of the webinar. And that's what you need to do. You need to follow a system. Here's the mistake I see a lot of people make when they go to try to do webinars. They don't have that end in mind. They don't know where they're going to get to that. They just wing it. And winging a webinar is a sure way for disaster. You need to follow a specific system. Now, listen. You don't have to develop a big old system right at the beginning. You just start out simple by simple, step by step by step. It doesn't have to be complicated, all right? But you do need to know where you're going to end up by the end of that webinar or your whole process. So no matter what software you're using, whatever software solution you're using, use a system and apply your system to your webinars. So is that fair enough, everyone? All right. Now, we have some people asking about the new twist. I'm going to get to that here in just a minute. So let me kind of set the frame in here for show you this new twist with webinars. Let me bust a myth here about something called push button marketing. I see a ton of products every year that promise that if you could push a button, you can make money. Have you ever experienced this? And type this in the questions area. Has anyone told you could push a button and make money? Well, let's look into this. I don't even have to bust this myth right now because a lot of people already know the answer to this. You just can't push a button and make money like many people say, right? But let me tell you how push button marketing can be possible. First, here's how you do it. First, you do some marketing work up front. like creating a webinar. Then you put it into a sales funnel where everything is automated. Then you drive traffic to it and collect the checks. All right. Now, what most people never tell you about about push button marketing is that you have to do some work up front, right? And I'll tell you from experience, it takes a little time and a little effort to get all that front end work done. But especially if you've never done a high converting webinar before. But think back to a few minutes, ago to the 5 ways I showed you how to make money with webinars. Can you start seeing the advantages of being a webinar promotion manager or doing local business webinars? You can have this expert or client do the actual webinar stuff, and all you have to do is create the sales funnel and push a button and make it work. Sure, it takes a little effort right up front to get things going, but once you've got that out of the equation, it's simply much like a set it and forget it type of marketing solution. It is a true push button marketing solution, and then all you need to do is add traffic to that. So is that clear? Push button marketing still requires some effort, but the new twist that I'm going to share with you right here will help you leverage that to make it more effective. So what is the new twist? The new twist is auto webinars. What's an auto webinar? This is where you're going to want to be taking some notes right now, really fast and furious, everyone. Let's say you want to run webinars every Wednesday at 9 p.m., but you want to run 5 webinars Wednesday at 9 p.m. Well, that's a problem because of scaling. There's only one Wednesday at 9 p.m. So what if you wanted to scale your business, and you can do that running auto webinars? We've kind of been at the forefront of this. There's a few of us out there that have been at the forefront of running automated webinars. Now think about it. Imagine right now if you could run a webinar every night at 9 p.m., or what if you could run a webinar at 9 a.m., 3 p.m., or 9 p.m., or what if you want to run a webinar every 10 minutes? You can't do that on a live webinar. There's just not enough time. But if you scale it up using auto webinars, you can, and that's why any aggressive marketer needs to implement automated webinars. Now, look, it's not just me. You know for a fact that the leading edge of marketers out there are implementing them right this very minute. And I was telling you the truth when I said that many of them are not too happy that I'm teaching people how to do them because they think it's a strategy that will wear out. But it won't. It'll only continue to evolve, just like teleseminars evolved into live webinars, and auto webinars, they really are the hottest new strategy to plug into. Now, Mike Morgan has sold over $250 million in products and services online, and he definitely knows his stuff. In fact, he's produced a webinar that sells $250,000 a week. And this is what he has to say about automated webinars. Webinars, especially automated webinars, are the future of selling high-ticket products and services online or offline. Done correctly, webinars are high engagement, high leverage, high profit sales funnels. They deliver consistent results for beginners and pros alike. And by the way, everyone, I know talent when I see it. And when I learned that Mike was behind an automated webinar that did $250,000 a week, I quickly snagged him away, and now he's working with me, and we're building automated webinar sales funnels in several different niches. Plus, he's now involved in my student coaching and mentoring programs, so we're really excited to have Mike on board. Now, of course, live webinars are great, right? But they do make it harder to scale your business, and I always think it's best to start out with live webinars, and once you have that working well, you can plug it into an auto webinar, or you can do them, or you can do both of them. So what can auto webinars do for you? Well, a lot. First, it gets you out of the marketing noise of launches and product promos. It's easier to get a partner to promote something of value to their list with like a webinar, because good webinars should have a lot of good quality content. Second, it leverages your time when you use automated webinars. Now you can do 3 webinars for different partners, 9 p.m. or on Wednesday night, or whatever time of the day you want. Webinars can also be evergreen, even auto webinars. In fact, I'll show you here in a few minutes how you can keep an auto webinar fresh and relevant once you have a really good one. It brings in a lot of sales over a long time. It's a lot better than launches when you do it that way. You can also choose better times to do, especially if you have an international crowd. It's easy to accommodate their schedules, and they produce even more of a cash flow. Everyone, you may not know this, but many of the marketers out there are stuck in this like launch mode mentality. It's like launch after launch after launch after launch, and they have to continue to do these launches to keep afloat. All right. Well, you don't have that with an automated webinar business because your income stays consistent over time. Now, auto webinars are easy to schedule with your JV partners as well because you can fit them into their schedule. And most importantly, auto webinars are event driven, and I'll talk about that here in just a moment. Here's the really cool thing about auto webinars. They're high leverage money machines. High leverage because you can run them while you're working out, reading a book, playing with your kids, or even sitting on the beach somewhere, right? Money machines because done correctly, they have super high earnings per click. Now, this picture right here, this is me down in Costa Rica. Now, I was on this raft with a bunch of other internet marketers, and we're just about ready to go over this massive rapid. And by the way, Mark, this is the most scared I've ever been in my life. But you'll notice in this picture here, I was actually smiling. Now, you may be thinking because I was just smiling because I was about ready to get my picture taken, but the reason I was smiling that day was because I was on this, I was just, even though having fun on this raft here down in Costa Rica, I was actually smiling for this reason right here. I was actually running a webinar, an automated webinar that I didn't have to be at on this very day we were on this rafting trip. And here's the webinar that we ran. We did $15,238 in sales on that webinar, all on autopilot, all while I was water rafting and getting tossed around by a river thousands of miles away from home. My cut of that webinar was 50%, and that more than paid for my trip down to Costa Rica. So wouldn't you be smiling too if that happened to you? That was the scariest experience that I've ever had in my life, but it was a great time. You know, had a great time doing it. And you know, doing this kind of webinar business allows me to do kind of fun stuff like that, and it still allows me to run my business on autopilot. And by the way, Mark, I'm going to invite you down to this trip next year, and you can take my place in the raft. Because what I didn't say about the story is, about 3 seconds after that, we tipped over. So you get my spot in the raft next year. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Please ask you a question. I'm only asking it because more than one person's asked it now. What makes an auto webinar different than, say, just playing a webinar replay video?
Exactly. So I'll even get to that more specifically and show everyone some screenshots. The difference is it's an event. All right, it's an event. It's you know, a replay video is something you can just go watch anytime, right? Think about it like when I was a kid. To watch the movie The Wizard of Oz. Back when I was a kid, there was no Netflix, there was no VCRs. You had one chance a year to watch that movie, and it was like a Sunday in April at 6 o'clock. And if you weren't sitting right in front of that TV, you missed it, and a lot of times you had to wait a whole another year. So an automated webinar will be a video, but it's not a video that you can get to at any time you want to. It's going to happen at like 9 o'clock, you know, Eastern or whenever that is, and so you've got to be there. It's an event. So it is a video that's playing, but you don't have to sit there and actually be talking into a microphone to be able to do that. So that's kind of what the difference is. And here's the thing. Done correctly, an auto webinar really feels like a live event, even though you should never lie to people and say that it is, all right? And by the way, Mark, I always recommend to people when we're running webinars like this today that you record them so that if you wanted to, Mark, in the future, you could provide what we're doing today to people in the future. Maybe you have new students that are coming on and you want to do this same webinar. You can provide that to your new students, and this allows you to continue to share this great content with them, but it also, Mark, allows you to maximize your time so you can do other things that you like to do in your life. But again, a good
auto webinar... Just let you...
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
I'll just let you guys know the key there is that you don't tell people it's live, okay? This event right now well, heck, I can't even tell you if it's live because maybe you're not watching it live. But I can say for all those that are here right now, yes, it is live. But then again, some people might be seeing it in the future, in which case it's not live. So we'll try and work out a way to show that to you and shortly so you can figure out if it's live or not. But what I will say is for Susan who just punched that in though, yes, it is live. But what I will say is that when I'm running a webinar that isn't actually live, all right, I just don't use the word live. I say today I'm running a webinar and it's going to take place at the time below. All right? I don't say today I'm running a live webinar. So people might assume that it's live, but I'm not saying that it's live. So that's how you can tell from me personally if I'm running a webinar that's live or not. You can see I won't use the word live if it's not live. So
Right.
yeah. Anyway, I just thought I'd fill that in.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is to people that realize it's the event that's the most important thing about it, that you're going to share some great content. But it's the event that people are excited about. The bottom line is focus on the event. The event, the webinar is going to be at 7 o'clock on Wednesday Eastern, and so that's what you need to focus on. Well, we have some people asking right now, how do you actually run an auto webinar? Well, there's several different ways, but what you need to do is you need to get some software. And you need to have some kind of software or some service that runs that automated webinar. Well, there's a very simple explanation. An auto webinar is a video file that's been pre-recorded. You'll need some software or service to play this video file so it looks like a webinar event, not just a video that's playing, and that just kind of answers the question that you asked me just a moment. What's the difference between a replay and an automated webinar? Well, listen, there's a few solutions out there right now to run auto webinars, but let me just save everyone some time and headaches and a lot of hassle right now. You can go out and buy some software, install it yourself to run automated webinars, but listen, I've been there, done that. It's never really worked out the way that I wanted it to do, and I'm not trying to knock other people's software. There's software out there that you can get, but if you want to buy some software and install it yourself, many times you're going to have to find out it has serious limitations in terms of reliability and scalability. You see, the problem is many of these software programs can't handle large loads. In fact, they can't even handle small loads all that well. I've tested most of the software that's out there. A few of them can reliably handle more than 100 people connecting for a webinar, but if you really want to scale your business, you need to shoot your sites, set your sites higher than that. And once you get set up with some software, you need a marketing funnel. If your software helps you do both, that's what you want. You need a software that can handle the marketing funnel as well. Let me show you some of the components that you'll need. This is, let me get back here. The first thing you'll need is you'll have to create a registration page for your attendees. It needs to be an opt-in page so they can, you can communicate with them about the webinar. It needs to have multiple days or times so your attendees can choose the right time that works best for them. Now remember, they're carving out time for your training. So giving a few choices will get more people to your webinars because they can work around their existing schedule better. And this opt-in form on your registration page needs to integrate with your autoresponder system because you'll want your attendees to go to your email list. Everyone talks about building a list. Well, this is one of the ways to build a list. So if you're using Aweber, iContact, Infusionsoft, GetResponse, other systems, you should be able to tie into your autoresponder service. The software also needs to have a thank you page to make sure your attendees can get all of the information so they can print it out so they'll know how to get back to watch your webinar. So the thank you page with all the details about your webinar, the time, the day, the call-in instructions, etc. should be on your thank you page. Then your software will need a pre-event page. And again, you'll want to have a countdown timer there, connection information. This is to remind people how to get back to this webinar. And this is one of the things that I've tested. And you may have noticed this many times when I run different webinars, you'll see countdown timers on my webinars before the webinar actually starts. And that helps people know that they're in the right place at the right time. So, 10 to 60 minutes before the webinar starts, you want to have a pre-event page turn into an event page. So watch this. When this page gets down to 5 minutes, this is what it turns into. Boom. It changes. Hey, notice how it says, hey, Mark, the webinar will start in just a few moments, all right? So when that timer reaches 0, boom, that webinar is going to start. So it really gets people more excited about your webinar. Some really neat things you could do with this to help make your event to go off smoother. Now, when that timer gets down to 0, boom, your webinar has started. Now, let me just clarify with people, especially if they're still having a hard time conceptualize this. Your webinar starts, but you're not sitting behind a microphone doing the webinar. You've already recorded it. It's a video that's playing. But they don't know it, okay? It doesn't look like a video that's playing. It looks like a webinar that has just started. You go along your merry way giving your content, and everyone gets caught up in your content, and then you get to go do other things, all right? Now, you may have noticed down here below there's an information box. This is where we like to use status boxes, where you can drop down order buttons, messages, download links, and plus we also like to have questions area. And think about this. When your webinar is running automatically, you can say to yourself, listen, guys, how am I going to ask questions? I'm going to ask questions here, but if you're not there on the webinar, how are you going to answer those questions? That's what I think some people are wondering right now. Well, here's how you can do it. You can handle it in one of two ways. You can say, listen, we can't answer questions while we're on the webinar, but if you want to type in your question, we'll be happy to follow up with you via email. Or, Mark, this is what we like to do. We like to use systems where we can actually log in live. And even though the webinar is running automatically, we can log in live and answer questions as they come in. This is a powerful feature with automated webinars to do something like that. Here's how I do that. I personally have employees that sit there and answer questions for people on our automated webinars. So if that's something you want to do, I highly recommend. That's a great route for a lot of people. So here's the thing. When the webinar is over, what's the typical thing that you want to provide? Well, you want to provide a replay. Now, usually when you see a replay for a webinar, it's usually 1 or 2 days after, right? Well, how many people show up 10 minutes late at the end of the webinar and it's over, and they miss it? They never get to see your content, never get to see your marketing message. Well, here's what's really cool about automated webinars. You can provide a replay almost immediately after the webinar. You can put a small delay where, hey, the replay is going to be up in 2 hours so that people that show up late, even though they missed your webinar, they could see a replay. So it's a lot more natural that way, and so there's a lot of functionalities we like to do with our automated webinars with our replays.
Or you can have a link to another event time.
Exactly. That's what I was just going to say. Yeah, I was going to say that. You don't even have to have a replay, Mark, just like what you just said. You just have, hey, you missed it, but we're going to do it again next Thursday at 3 o'clock or something. So perfect. Yeah, so if you don't want a replay, you don't have to provide a replay. So do you see the power of auto webinars? I think you know why I call them high leverage money machines, and I'm sure many of you already have some great ideas because I've seen some questions come in already about some ideas that you could use with this. But by now, you should have a good idea if either live or auto webinars is a strategy worth pursuing. And if it is, you probably want to know how to get started quickly. So let me show you how to do that. So I told you about some of the students that I've taught with the webinars that I've done. And of course, I told you at the end of this webinar, I'll be showing you my training system. And if you say yes and you're willing to do your part, I will personally help you achieve your goals. Now look, I'm not a slick salesman, Mark, and you don't need to be one either, everyone that's listening to this webinar. I just started mentoring people just in December of 2010. Mike Morgan is also working with me now to mentor a lot of our students just a few months ago. But listen, I did a workshop a year ago, and I mentored 12 students. And some of these students have done extremely well, and I want to show you one of these students real quick. This is my first big success story that came from the workshop that I did a year ago. His name is Dave Foran. You saw his email a little bit earlier on. Several people at that workshop have gone on to do great things. Dave really rocked. Dave paid a lot of attention, took action right away. He didn't just go home and put the boot camp on the shelf and forget about it. He actually took action and did it. And basically, he took my materials, adapted them for a webinar series called Offline X Factor. Now he's making 5 figures a month with that. And again, Dave does not own Offline X Factor. It's actually a guy named Jack Mize. So basically, he approached Jack and said, I want to be your webinar promotion manager. Let's take this product and promote it via webinars. Jack agreed, and it worked out really, really well for both of them. Now, Dave has actually got several more lined up this year. He's super excited. And just like I did, I saw him recently, and he's always excited to see, his progress on that. He's just one of the. Here's one of the webinars that Dave did with Jack's product. And would you like to wake up in the morning and see these kind of numbers? And go ahead and type that in the questions area. Would you like to wake up in the morning and do a webinar and see, $21,000 of sales on a webinar? Yeah. Yeah, several people would, and I bet you would too as well. And that's not even one of their best webinars that they've done. If you want to learn how to do this, I want to show you how to shortcut the learning curve and use my entire system. Now, why use a system instead of just winging it? Well, think about it. A good system saves you time, energy, and money. Sure, you could create your own system, but it takes a lot of time and effort. But if you just ask any successful person, they had mentors who taught them a system, and that way you can avoid a lot of mistakes. And the greatest thing about a system is this. Systems give you true leverage because you can concentrate on implementing. I'm sure you've done a paint-by-paint number system in the past when you were a kid. I know I did. I loved them because I didn't have to be an artist to produce good-looking paintings. I just plugged the right color into the right number, and it looked like I was a great artist, all right? Even though most people have more artistry in their pinky than I have in my whole body. So how long does it take before you start making money with webinars? Well, I want to give you the straight scoop here. Even though I've thrown around some pretty big numbers from webinars, they're not a get-rich-quick-tomorrow method. They're not even a get-rich-next-week method. And again, I know this is a pretty savvy group here, so I'm sure you'll know, I'm sure you know exactly that you do need to do something. And it's going to take a little time to get the whole thing put together. But the best thing about webinars is they are not a take forever to make money kind of system either. And I'll bet that you probably have a few ideas right now after seeing this webinar that'll speed things along. So let me give you a quick overview of what's included in the system. It includes a complete step-by-step instructions, live mentoring, and a few unique services I designed to help people get going fast. Not only will you learn my hard-won secrets for doing live webinars, we'll also show you how you can start using the new twist of auto webinars. It starts with 7 high-quality video training modules. These are the training modules. They're training modules. They're not just videos that you watch and say, oh, that was nice. They're an over-the-shoulder look exactly what we're doing, point by point, paint in the numbers. Module 1 is about monetization paths. It takes you through all the different monetization paths of ways you can make money with webinars. And where I get real specific into the details of the 5 ways to make money with webinars, especially becoming a webinar promotion manager and local business webinars. Module 2 is about finding and securing the right products. If you're going to be a webinar promotion manager, you actually have to find those products. I'll show you exactly how to do that. If you're going to be, doing webinars with your own product, I'll show you what you must have in your product to make it sell like hotcakes. Essentially, it's about finding and securing the right products for webinars. Module 3 is the largest module in the whole system. This is a very important module because many people can teach you how to do things, but if you can't get traffic, you can't make any money at all. You've got to get traffic, so this is the largest module. I'll show you how to do this. I'll show you how to drive hordes of traffic with free traffic, with paid traffic, with JV traffic, social media traffic. I drive a lot of traffic to my webinars. I want to teach you how to do this here in this module. These are the best methods that I found to fill up my webinars. Module number 4 is designed to show you how to create a high-converting webinar. I take you step by step and show you exactly how to do a webinar, and I even give you my webinar so you can actually just copy my successful webinars that I've done in the past and paste your product into that webinar so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So I'm going to teach you how to do it, but I'm also going to give you what I've already done so you can just copy and paste it so you can get started faster. Module 5 is about hardware and software. If you've got a computer, with most of you probably do because you're at a computer, or if you have access to a computer, you're about 98% of the way there. It's not expensive to get going. Many people start with less than $50 a month running a webinar business when they get started. Module 6 is about live income webinars. I'll tell you how to do these events, how to get the systems in place. I'll give you my systems and show you step by step exactly how to do it. I'll show you exactly how to run a successful live webinar event that pays big. And then Module 7 is how to scale your live events and run automated webinars. Some people like to skip right to this module, and this is where it gets really exciting because you can actually run the same thing that you've been doing live, run it multiple times a day. Now, again, these are high-quality videos designed to train real people. Basically, you get to see a lot of me, and I hope that's okay because I love training people. It's the kind of video that you'll watch, you'll pause it, you'll go do the work, you'll come back, you'll unpause it, you'll go do the work. I give you step by step. It's over the shoulder type of video training. It's got quite a few components as well, so I'll cover them really quick here. Besides the video training modules, you get access to the members and training tools site. Like, this is the hub of where you get access to everything. I want to walk you through this really quick because I don't like it when people show me tell me about a product, but they don't actually show it to me. So I want to just show you it here real quick. This is the hub. This is called the Webinar Income System Members and Training Tool site. This is the Getting Started page right here. From here, you can get access to all of the modules to get yourself started. This is the training area right here. This is where you get organized. This is where you walk through all the training step by step, or you can jump around to different training areas. You also notice in here that we have the coaching section. We have the forums, the support and billing. I'm going to talk about those here in just a second. You'll notice here about coaching. There's coaching with this package. You get access to an 8-week group coaching package to help you digest the material even better, and that's because I want to give you everything you need to be successful. All the training is in there. The group coaching is a nice added value. So from day one, you get everything, all the content, all the training. The 8-week group coaching is for people who like a little extra hand-holding where I walk you through an 8-week step-by-step program. Now, this course is extensive, and so I walk you through step-by-step through this 8-week group coaching for those who want to soak up all the information more fully, and for those who like to be held a little bit accountable for certain things. And by the way, this is a great time to get involved because the 8-week group coaching starts this week. So what you're doing is you're getting all the step-by-step info, the resources, the tools, and the coaching, plus a few things more, like group mentoring sessions. And here's how it works. If you need specific help with your project that you're working on, I'm here to help you. Mike's here to help you to get there fast. We want to be your expert mentor to look over your shoulder. So here's what you do. You jump on one of our mentoring sessions. We do these once, twice, 3 times a month, depending on the demand. And you ask your questions ahead of time. We prepare the answers for you. We jump on a live session. We'll answer your questions. If you have additional questions, you'll ask them. If you can't be on the webinar that we do, the mentoring session, no problem. We'll still answer your question, and we record everything so you can watch a replay later. Remember, Mike has helped has created some of the highest grossing webinars that are out there right now. So he'll be bringing that training to you in addition to the training and knowledge that I'm going to share with you. So, most of these are live. Some of them are pre-recorded, but again, you get to ask your questions. How does that sound? Who's excited for group mentoring? I know it's been some of the funnest things and most profitable things that we've done with this with our students is the group mentoring. They've really enjoyed that. You'll also get access to the template toolbox. Just like Dave Foran, I gave him all my opt-in pages, my email sequences, my order pages, my JV promo pages, and more, and he just copied and pasted these for his product that he was promoting. He took my template toolbox, copied them, pasted them for his business model, and this is how you could do the same thing and get going a lot faster than reinventing the wheel. And that's why I provide the template toolbox for you. Especially if you're a webinar promotion manager or local webinar expert, just modify the templates and apply it right to what you're doing. I could go on a long time about all the components in the system, but I want to get to the, if we want some questions and answers here real quick. So I'll just give you this at a high level. The next thing you get is the product researcher. I also have some students that just love this. And what is it? My team will help you find your product partner. My team will help research and find the products that you can promote. Just let us know the niche that you want to go into, and we'll give you 3 products and 3 product owners that you can contact to promote their products. And my team will actually do that for you. It takes some of the busy work out of it. If you want to do joint venture webinars, you're going to want to do JV deals with people. I'm going to give you access to what I call my Partner Promo Creator. It's a simple tool that creates these promo pages for our partners that we do webinars with, and they love these pages because it helps clearly identify exactly how you're going to run your event. My tool will create these pages for you. The live webinar lead capture tool is something that you'll love because if you're going to run live webinars with like GoToWebinar, it's a software tool that lets you add people to your autoresponder list as they register for your webinar. So if you're using GoToWebinar but you want to capture people into your Aweber, your iContact, your GetResponse, you could do that with this tool, and you can control the way your opt-in pages look and your thank you pages. So you'll get this tool as well. In fact, this is the tool that I used when I did the Keyword Rockstar webinars that generated a list in 6 months that has helped me generate an additional $800,000 in revenue. So you'll get this tool as well. The Local Biz Perpetual webinar. This is another tool that you get access to. Now, what is a Local Biz Perpetual webinar? It's basically a pre-made webinar sales funnel for people who want to market to local businesses. And here's how it works. You send your local business leads to this webinar, and I will convert them into local business clients for you. How does that sound? Who would like me to convert local business clients for you to be your customers? Let me repeat that. In this webinar, I will convert your small business traffic for you to get clients for you. So if you have a business, you want to help local businesses do webinars, I will help get clients for you. So here's how it works. The Local Biz Perpetual webinar runs every day, multiple times a day. You just send your leads to it, we take care of the rest, and we get the leads to you. And so that's people, Mark, have had a phenomenal result with the Local Biz Perpetual webinar. So I'll get to that here in just a minute with of exactly how that works and tell you about some more of the bells and whistles that you get. But I'm sure a lot of people are wondering about this. Does it really work? Does it really help people make money? Well, if you're ready to follow a simple step-by-step system, if you could follow through, I'm fully confident that I'll deliver the goods. So I would ask you this: do you want to do your part? Go ahead and type it in the questions area. Do you want to do your part to be successful at this? The people who are killing it with webinars right now are action takers who follow directions and know that building anything of consequence can take a little time. They can set goals and work to achieve them. Mike Enos was one of those guys. Mike's first webinar, he did $76,000 in sales by the morning. And by the end of the week, it was up to $86,000. Would that kind of result be worth working for? Would you be willing to work for those kind of results? How about Mike Colella, another guy who took action? His first 3 webinars raked in $40,000, $33,000, and over $50,000. Now, what does he have that you don't? Well, I'll tell you, Mike is a great guy, but he would say he's no marketing genius. He just knew how to follow directions. Another student, Stephen Smith, made over $21,000 on his first webinar. And by the way, everyone, I want everyone to understand, I'm giving you gross numbers here. Of course, Stephen didn't put $21,000 in his own bank account with this one webinar. It was probably closer to $7,000. But can you think of an easier way to make $7,000 in 90 minutes? Todd Bright sent me this email after a month after becoming one of my students, and as you can see by his email, he already landed his first local webinar deal that got $500 just for setting it up. And he also got the first monthly fee of $500. So just one deal got him $1,000 his first month, and it will continue to pay him $500 each and every month. And that's just one of the deals. He's made many more since. So listen, I could show you more success stories, but the point I want to make is this program can be anything you want it to be. If you want to rock and roll, you can. If you want to take a few months to let things soak in, that's okay too. But again, I'm confident in this system. I'm confident it will produce millionaires. I'm confident it will help someone who wants to make $1,000 or $2,000 a month just to pay the basic bills. It just depends on what your goals are. All right, so we're getting a lot of questions here. People are asking about the price, and we'll get to that here in just a second. But I've got a few gifts that I'll be giving to those who are most serious about using this webinar model. In fact, I have 3 gifts for people who want to get into our platinum level right now. 2 gifts for our gold level and 1 for our silver level. Now, these gifts aren't hokey, all right? They're very valuable, and they are yours free if you're ready to take this system to town and make money doing webinars. This software is where I'm going to start focusing my attention on very soon. Remember earlier when I told you that one of the options to get auto webinar software is to build your own solution? I may have mentioned that earlier. Well, that's exactly what I did last year. You see, I've run hundreds and hundreds of live webinars, and I know from tested experience how an automated webinar solution should work. So what we've done is we've used our own auto webinar player for these, and we actually built a whole software service solution around this. And this is the direction that my business is taking, is this auto webinar player software. This is what we're doing mainstream here. It's designed to work with webinar sales formula, method of doing webinars. We really tried to replicate the whole process that mimics the way people watch live webinars. And here's the other cool thing. It actually runs on your own domain name or subdomain name. That means your auto webinar player software on your very own domain name, so that there's no, customers see you as a big player. It makes for great, great branding of your site. Auto webinar player is hosted on our enterprise class server farm. There's no installing, no FTP to worry about. You can break that 1,000 user limit of, like, if you're using GoToWebinar. There's no other auto webinar software in the world that is as robust and stable. I took everything that I've learned when I worked for 3M and Cisco Systems to design it that way, and like I said, it took over a year to complete. So listen, if you're a raw rookie, I doubt that you're not going to have 1,000 people on your first webinar, but doesn't it feel nice to know that you have room to grow? So experienced marketers are already breaking that 1,000 user limit, so you need to be in a system where you can do the same. So every screen in Auto Webinar Player can be customized. You can make it look the way you want it to look, run it the way you want it to run. So here is what I'm going to give as gift number 1 if you go with the Platinum option. Normally it's $97 a month for a basic account where it lets you have 500 connected users. $197 for an advanced account to get 1,500 connected users. And the Ultimate account, that's $297 a month to get you 2,500 plus connected users. That's the one you get. You get the Ultimate account, and at the end of the first year, this will be renewed at $97 a month, but you'll still get to keep the Ultimate account that normally goes for $297 a month. So if you choose the Gold or Silver packages, you'll get 3 months of the basic plan for free as well. Bonus number 2. You'll get a free ticket to the Webinar Summit, but only at the Platinum level. This is a 2-day live event held here in Salt Lake City, Utah. You'll get 1 free ticket to attend this event. Now, this is not an event to learn how to do the webinar income system. I'm already giving you that in this system. This is a more advanced event where we'll focus on lead generation, conversion strategies, and webinar technologies. And not only that, it will be an awesome networking event. This year, we're going to be filling the room with people who are interested in doing webinars. Many of you want to do JV webinars, you want to meet new JVs out there and build your network. An event like this is the place to be. There are going to be a lot of relationships built here at this event. And I've forged some of the best relationships at events like this in the past, so this is something you'll definitely want to attend. Now, I'm really excited about that because you'll get a free ticket to attend that event, come learn the advanced strategies, network, and meet some of the best and brightest in the business. And finally, gift number 3 is for Platinum and Gold levels. You'll get all the DVDs that were recorded at the live boot camp I did just last year. I think you're going to love the boot camp because it adds another dimension to the material. And of course, the original system has everything you need, but some people always need more. So I'm going to give you the boot camp DVDs that were recorded at our boot camp. In case you don't remember me talking about the boot camp earlier, I taught a very small group of 12 people my webinar formula. Each of these people paid $5,000 to attend this, so it wasn't cheap. Now, this set contains 10 DVDs, way too much video to put online, and that's why it's on 10 DVDs. And at that workshop, I taught people the whole webinar sales system, and I even did a live webinar at the end. You can see me clicking the buttons, doing everything at the end of that webinar. I want to show you a picture of this. This is really neat, Mark. At this event, at the end, I did a live webinar. And this live webinar, in front of the whole students, made $26,000 in sales. So it was a great example of teaching you what to do and then showing you how to do it, and actually made money right at the end. So that's on disc 9 and 10, by the way, of the Bootcamp DVDs. So you get all the 10 DVDs shipped to you free, no matter where you are in the world, for joining the Webinar Income System at the Gold or Platinum level today. So that's a pretty sweet set of gifts. And all of the components in this system together are worth an honest $14,638 at full retail. And of course, you could take your time going through it, or if you already have a product that's a high ticket, many people will have webinars running in 2 to 3 weeks. And of course, I told you a little earlier how you could get my system for free. Who would like to know that? Who would like to know how to get the system for free? Well, several people would. So let me go ahead and tell you how it works. After you've done $20,000 in gross sales, just contact me and create a testimonial for Auto Webinar Player, and I'll give you your investment back in the system. Now, Mike and I want as many good testimonials for Auto Webinar Player as we can get before we really start pushing it hard. So we are training people right now and helping them so they can help us. Now remember, listen, I can't guarantee you this, but my first webinar I did over $53,000 in sales. I know some people can get our system, pay it off, and make a tidy profit right on their first webinar. Other people may take 5 webinars or may take 10 webinars. I don't know. It really depends on you, but that's our partnership guarantee for you. In addition to the partnership guarantee, I'm giving you an ironclad 30-day no questions asked money back guarantee. Like I said earlier, the system is not for everyone, but of course you'll never know if it's for you unless you give it a try. Now that's why I'm giving you a 30-day free look period so you can decide for yourself. And remember, the mentoring and coaching starts this week, so the timing for you is perfect if you're ready to start creating your very own webinar sales machine. And imagine how your life could change after you're finally bringing home the bacon. I mean, what would you do? Personally, I'm a family man. Here are 2 cards that we send out usually at Christmas time and New Year's time. And as you can see, we have a lot of fun going around traveling with the family. Here's us down at the new Harry Potter park down in Florida. This is me in Costa Rica putting my hand in an alligator's mouth. And this is me kissing the fish and on a houseboat. That's my wife fishing with me on the houseboat. Listen, we do a lot of fun things with our family because our webinars have allowed us to do that, a webinar business. And this is what we're going to do very shortly here. We're going to be taking a full month out. We're going to take the kids and we're going to jump in. We're going to travel the country in our motorhome. We're going to be relaxing, exploring, seeing new places. And the best part is I'm going to be running this whole webinar business as I'm out traveling because a lot of my business is automated. It's the kind of freedom that you know that internet marketing webinars can really do for you. So listen, maybe RVing is not your cup of tea, and that's fine. The point is not what I'm doing, it's what you can do. And I'm sure you can think of something that would make you and maybe your family be very happy. So the group coaching starts this week, and this is a perfect opportunity to get involved. I'm not going to drag this out. We're already done, 90 minutes so far. And the truth is I don't have room for everyone who wants to sign up right now. I really don't, because I get personally involved and spend a lot of time in our forums. And I briefly mentioned the forums, but you'll have access to our forums in our members area. And this is where myself and Mike interact with all of our students, and I personally do this every day. Plus, what I'll also do is I'll have a link for you in the forums where you could send me a private message in the forums, and I'll give you 1 free year access to the private messages in the forums. So I'll show you how to do that once you're inside the system. Look, I just don't have time in the day to take everyone who wants to join, so we have to limit how many students we'll take each week. And the space is limited to 20 on this webinar. So we spend a lot of time with our students, just like I mentioned. I'm sure you can see why we can't take a ton of students. And by the way, like I said, we take about 20 students for each one of these webinars that we do. So the space is limited on this. And the other thing is you can go into our forum area and our members area. You can see a lot of the students that I've shown you some of their results. You can actually see those students in there and actually read their results and even interact with them. So here's the deal today, everyone. This is the only time I'm offering this system, this coaching, this mentoring, and the gifts to you. It's only for people that are watching this webinar. The normal price of the system is $19.97, and that's with no gifts at all. That's the normal price, but today I'm giving you the webinar income system at a very special offer. There are 3 different levels that you can join. Our silver package is 6 payments of $297. You get the webinar income system program with the coaching and the mentoring and the training. As a bonus with the silver package, I will give you 3 free months of Auto Webinar Player Basic. That's a bonus worth $291. Your total payment will be $1,782. My regular price is $19.97 without the 3 free months of Auto Webinar Player Basic. Now the gold package is 2 payments of $797, and that's where you get the webinar income system program, the coaching, the mentoring, and the training, and the DVD set of the webinar boot camp. Plus, I will also give you 3 months of Auto Webinar Player Basic and Gold package. The 2 payments adds up to $15.92. And finally, there's a platinum package. With that, you get the Webinar Income System program with the coaching, the mentoring, and the training, the DVD set of the Webinar Bootcamp, the 12 months of the ultimate plan for Auto Webinar Player, and you get one ticket to the Webinar Summit, and it's one payment of $14.97. So here's the link. The link is onedaysellnow.com/Mark. And that would be the special link that you would need to use to get the special webinar-only price. Make sure you write this down because this screen's going to disappear in just a few moments. So if you forget to write it down, you won't be able to get access. So again, that link is onedaysellnow.com, and you'll see everything there. Just in case you forgot, because I know I went through it pretty quickly here. I know I went through everything really fast here, so go to that link to see everything that you get. And again, I only have 20 spots open right now, plus, you know, whatever you choose, you'll get the double guarantee, the no questions asked, 30-day unconditional guarantee, so you can check out the whole system and see if it's for you. I have the partnership guarantee where I'll give you all of your money back after you make your first 20 grand. So how does that sound, everyone? All right. So, you know, I think if you're the kind of person who's willing to put in the effort, this is an absolute no-brainer. So now, Mark, I know you mentioned you wanted to throw something special in for everyone today, right?
Yeah, I've put together some a custom bonus package for anyone that joins in the next 10 minutes through my link on this webinar, which you just saw at that onedaysell/Mark link, and we'll go back to that link in just a moment.
Yep,
so
it's one day sale.
anyway,
Yeah, one day. Yeah. We'll mention that link a few times, everyone. So no worries there.
Okay. Well, all right. So I want to reward all the people that have taken the time to be on this webinar and are prepared to invest in this particular opportunity right now with some bonuses that I think are going to help you even further with this kind of business model. And one of them is 3 done-for-you affiliate webinars. Now, what I mean by done for you is you'll be given the MP4 file for the webinar, so you can do with it as you wish. You can put it into Camtasia if you wish to, or whatever software that you want to edit it with. You don't even have to edit it. You can just put it online as it is, all right? And you can use it with Joel's software, where at the appropriate points in the webinar, you just simply put your order link, and it'll automatically you'll automatically get the affiliate commissions on the sales during the webinar. So basically, all you do is you send traffic to the webinar. Joel teaches you how to drive traffic. Okay, so if you're wondering how do I drive traffic, look, Joel's teaching you that already. Okay, so it's a matter of all you have to do is send people to any of these webinars, and you make money. You earn your 50% commission on the sale of the product that's closed in the on the webinar. And the webinars are in a few different niches. The first one is in the affiliate marketing niche, where you'll get a webinar from me where I teach people how to make money as a super affiliate. So basically, I spend around about an hour teaching people tips to do with making money in affiliate marketing, all right? And then at the end of the webinar, I close the webinar by promoting my Affiliate Jetpack product at a special pricing of $397, and you earn a 50% commission on anybody that buys that particular product. The second one is a webinar on how to get high search engine rankings, and I closed that particular webinar with a promotion of my Traffic Travis product, which you get a 50% commission on any sales that are made. And on the third webinar, I teach people tips and tricks to do with upgrading their mindset, and it's actually more in the personal development niche, and it promotes a product which is a software tool plus a guide to a further guide to upgrading your mindset, and it's actually relevant to the weight loss niche, to the dating and relationships niche. It does really, really well in the personal development niche as well, this particular webinar formula. This particular one, I've only ever recorded it live before, so I'm going to have to record it again for you so that it suits the format for Joel's software and so forth. So the first two you'll get right away, and then the next one you just have to give it a few days before I've got that online for you. So you're going to get get that. Joel, do you want to just quickly just explain the incredible value of that bonus to them?
Let me just tell you, Mark, I'm so excited about this because this is phenomenal. Because what just to clarify, what Mark's doing is he's already got proven webinars that he's already done in the past. He's going to give these to you. I know, Mark, when you mentioned to me that you wanted to do this, I was really excited. So all you have to do is take this info that Mark's going to give you, put it right into AutoWebinar Player, and just make a few links. That's all you have to change, and it's like done for you. So it's phenomenally well. You don't have to go create your own webinar. You just use a successful webinar that Mark has already done for you. So phenomenal. I just think that's an awesome bonus that you're offering to everyone, Mark. So.
Thanks. Well, yeah, I wanted to do something that was going to be custom for your particular offer, and I thought that was going to be ideal for people. The next one that I've got is a product called How to Build Your Own Membership Site from Scratch. It's you're going to learn all the secrets involved in setting up and running a high-profit membership site, and it includes niche research, getting content, the sales funnel, marketing your website, how to set up your membership site, membership retention secrets, and more. And what's the thing that I think that you guys are going to like about this bonus is on the next slide, where you'll see that you get private label rights to how to build your own membership site from scratch. So not only do you get to learn from this incredible, great training, but you can resell the video recordings as your own product. And that comes with a professionally written sales copy plus graphics. So you could potentially sell this as your own product at the end of a webinar, if you so wish, but I think that you may ideally find it to be a really good bonus to use on a webinar when you're promoting either your own product or potentially someone else's. So you could be promoting someone else's product that's in a relevant niche to this, and you could use this as your own limited time bonus on their webinar. I just think that that'll tie in nicely for you as a bonus. So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great.
So these bonuses, though, I want to keep them limited because otherwise they lose value if too many people have them. So they're limited to people that join in the next 10 minutes, and that's to reward those of you that are here now on this particular webinar. Okay, so I want to take the time now to take some questions, like to grill Joel. So start typing those questions into the Q&A box right now, and while you're doing that, I just want to mention that this is one of the most amazing systems that I have personally ever seen. Now, I've had it for quite a few months now to actually have a proper look at it. Okay, he's posted it to me in the mail, the actual DVDs, and I've got the online access, and it's put together really, really well. And I'm especially excited about two things. Number one, the product researcher, where Joel's team will help you find your product to promote and so forth. And two, the partner promo creator. I've actually used that for this webinar, and it was amazingly simple. I knew just what to do and when to do it. Look, Joel's willing to do a lot of the work for you in this particular package, and he's giving you his full access to his auto webinar player so that you can run auto webinars. That's the future, no doubt, running these auto webinars. So this is something that is number one, the future of internet sales. It's where everything's going. I'm doing extremely well out of these, out of running these webinars, both in the internet marketing niche, but also in several other niches, including dating and relationships. I'm about to record one in the Learn Spanish niche. I'm doing it in other niches as well to do with personal development, weight loss, and other niches as well. So it's really, really a powerful strategy, and it's the way the future is heading online. And those that are, how do I say it, almost too lazy to be bothered to go ahead and do this are going to be left behind. And those that do get into this are doing extremely well already. Huge figures. In fact, I don't really know anyone that runs these kinds of webinars that don't make already 5+ figures a week online, those that get into it and run them regularly anyway. Okay, so number two, you don't even need a product. You really don't need anything but the desire to make money and be willing to put in some elbow grease and some follow through. All you need to do is put your trust in the system and follow it exactly. I know some of the guys that Joel's trained. I know the struggles they've had, and using Joel's system, they've created incredible cash flow and are continuing to do so. And this is all thanks to what they've learned in Joel's system. So again, make sure that you take advantage of this, because it's truly one of the best systems I've seen, and it's the future of internet marketing. I'm personally doing a lot of webinars myself, not just because they make sales, but a lot of it's also to do with the relationships that you build on a webinar. Because when people join you for a webinar, it's completely different than them just, say, reading some of your emails or just visiting your website. It's completely different. They're getting sort of a multimedia experience, and once people have experienced the value of learning from you, they've experienced what it's like to actually gain some aha moments and learn some great stuff, even if they don't buy from you on the webinar, you'll have a better relationship with them for the long term, and they open more of your emails long term, because you're starting to teach them that opening your emails is a good thing, and it helps them. And you know what? Maybe they'll buy from you on another webinar in the future. So yeah, there's a lot of benefits to them. So anyway, I said we were going to be taking some questions. First of all, I've got several questions coming through. I'm just grouping them. A few people have asked you, Joel, how do you drive traffic to your webinars, and is it difficult to get traffic?
You know, that's a great question, and like I said, you know, you've got to have traffic. It's really important. You know, I think a lot of people can, like I said earlier, they can teach things, but if they don't teach you how to drive the traffic, you know, it's not that great, right? You've got to have some traffic, and so that's why I really focus in this. So let's talk about this just real specifically. To drive traffic to your webinars, there's several methods. There's free methods. There's paid methods. You can do paid methods. You can drive traffic. There's Google AdWords. There's Facebook advertising. And let me tell you, there's some phenomenal things that are happening with Facebook right now. A lot of people don't realize that if you look in your Facebook accounts, you're starting to see these little ads that talk about webinars, about different informational products that you can watch via webinars. It's a very, very powerful way. So that's paid traffic. Now, if you don't want to do paid traffic, you can do free traffic. There's joint venture traffic is a very powerful method. You can even do SEO traffic. You can do social media traffic. So there's a lot of different strategies. We cover that all in the system. So there's several different ways, and we're always coming up with new traffic ways as well. So.
Yeah, I've been doing some paid traffic recently to get more traffic to webinars. I mean, they're so powerful. I've been doing them with free traffic for a long time, but I tried advertising on ClickBank, for instance, to send people to one of my IM webinars, and that went really well. And then I tried advertising to one person's weight loss newsletter, and that had it made me money, but it wasn't necessarily as good as I'd hoped. But I did make a profit on that, and I think that with a little bit of tweaking, that could turn into a huge profit opportunity in that particular niche. And yeah, I mean, so definitely that's one way. But yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot of ways of driving free traffic.
And I'll just say one thing real quick. You know, my Keyword Rockstar example, we did not do a single bit of paid traffic for the Keyword Rockstar webinars that I've done. We've done millions of dollars in sales on that product. It all started out with just doing joint venture traffic, and that's without a list. So just to let you know, Mark, I think a lot of people.
Yeah, I've almost never done paid traffic to the webinars. I only just started getting into it because they've been so lucrative from the free traffic that it's like makes sense to drive as much as you can to these things.
So
okay. I get people from outside the United States saying, like, does this work all over the world, or is this just limited to people in, say, America and Canada?
Oh yeah. So this is we're talking about worldwide marketing here, everybody. This works in English, it works in other languages, Spanish, you name a language, it works. And that's the beauty of webinars, is you can reach a worldwide audience. So if your product or service can be can be taken advantage of worldwide, this is for you. And don't forget, like I just mentioned, foreign languages. It's not just an English market. This is huge in the Spanish market. This is huge in the German market. This is huge in if there's people that buy products or services in your country, it'll work for there. So good question. I'm really glad you asked that.
Cool. Yeah, because I'm in New Zealand and I've been doing this for quite a while now, at least a few years now, and it's been getting better and better and better. Every year it seems to be. I guess as people's internet connections get faster all over the world, as people trust buying stuff online even more, it seems to do even better. Okay, I get quite a few people saying, is this for newbies as well, or is this just for intermediate marketers, or what?
Great question, great question. So here's the thing. Everyone starts out as a newbie at some point in their life or their career, right? So here's how I've designed things. The answer is yes to both. It's for newbies, it's for intermediate, and it's for advanced marketers as well. Now, of course, let's be real. If you're new, you're going to have a little bit of a learning curve, and that's okay. That's okay that you're going to need a learning curve. Okay, it's not difficult, but you may take an extra couple of weeks than someone who's been around for a little while. So we have people, Mark, that are doing webinars. Their first, couple weeks, 2-3 weeks of doing this after never having done this at all. I'd never done a webinar before when I got started, and within 30 days I had my very first successful webinar that did thousands and thousands of dollars. So you could take it at your own pace, but we've designed it for new people. We've designed it for intermediate and advanced as well. So good question.
Fantastic. Okay, now I might just let people know now that I've actually got some more bonuses for you as well, and those that have already joined through the link on this page are actually going to receive those bonuses too. Okay, I really wanted to over deliver on the bonuses, so I'm actually providing you a few extra bonuses that I hadn't mentioned before. So anyway, I just want to go through those with you. One of them is the Affilorama Outsourcing Blueprint, and this is where I teach you all my strategies for outsourcing. This isn't just for outsourcing to full-time staff members, although I do teach you how to do that. I teach you how to manage staff from overseas, like in the Philippines and so forth. I know Joel's got a great team in the Philippines. I teach you my methods for doing that. I teach you how to manage them, how much to pay them, and how to actually hire great outsourcing staff. A lot of people out there just try to find any outsourcers to do work for them, but there's a big difference between finding anybody and finding the best people. And getting the best out of them. And then I also teach you how to find people for one-off jobs as well. Like sometimes you only want someone for a really short little projects, but it's still important that you're finding the best people and that they are, you're getting them at the right rate in terms of the amount that's costing you and so forth. So you're going to learn a lot of great things, and it also comes with some videos for your outsourcers as well, so that you can train them as well. Like for instance, I've got some videos on how to do things like link building if you're wanting to outsource link building, or there's some videos on other things like how to use time management software that I use if you want to manage your staff through the same software, which is free, by the way, that software, and it's really good, and lots more. It's a really in-depth, and I think it's going to be fantastic little guide for lots of you guys out there that are interested in outsourcing some elements of this particular system. Okay, so the next bonus, if you want to move through, is how to drive floods of repeat sales with email marketing. Plus, you're going to get the resale rights to this. Now, I actually used this as a bonus when I launched Traffic Travis version 4, and it didn't come with resale rights for people that purchased it with that got it with version 4. It just because it's a great bonus in of itself. All right, and inside this exclusive video goes for about 2 hours. You'll learn how I've built my list up to over 1 million people, and that's in over 30 different niches, by the way. And you'll learn how to grow your email list, how to gain high rates of opt-ins, how to build a strong relationship with your list while getting people to want to buy stuff from you, and a lot more. I think that you guys are going to find this to be a fascinating and enlightening video that you're going to learn a lot from, but you're also going to get the resale rights as well. And I was sort of humming and hawing whether I should give the resale rights to this too. I'm not giving it to you with a sales letter, by the way. I'm just saying that you're allowed to use it as your own bonus, or you can sell it yourself. Okay, I'm giving you the rights, but this particular one, unlike the other one that I gave you resale rights to, that does come with a sales letter. I haven't written a sales letter for this particular bonus, but anyway, you get you get the video, you get cheat sheet written notes that go with the video, by the way, and you get the full resale rights so that you can offer it as your own bonus when promoting someone else's product, or you could sell this on a webinar, or I think it's ideal as a bonus though, to help close more sales when you do run webinars and so forth in the future. But either way, even without resale rights, it's packed with beginner to all the way through to advanced information on email marketing that I think is going to be invaluable to all of you.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're the master at list building. So this is gonna be a great video for everyone. So awesome.
Thanks. And so anyway, do you want to bring the link back to the screen?
Here we go. There we go.
Oh, sorry, I've got one more bonus. I almost forgot to mention this one. It's my SMS webinar text message reminder script. I haven't quite finished developing this, so it'll be placed on the bonuses page for you guys as soon as it's ready. What it is it's a script that I'm getting one of my developers to create for me, which will allow me, when I'm sending people to any webinar, whether it be a live webinar or whether it be a automated webinar, it will allow me to send them a text message reminder, say 15 minutes before the webinar starts. Now and it'll be optional to them. They don't have to enter their cell phone number, but they may wish to. And if anyone enters it into this particular script, then it'll send them that reminder at an automated time. So you're going to get the script with installation instructions, and it doesn't come with support from Affilorama, but I will give you an email address direct to the programmer that developed the script, so that you can get support directly from them, because he's not actually an Affilorama programmer. I actually outsourced this particular script development, so just letting you guys know. But for those of you that actually have punched into the Q&A box and mentioned the idea of an SMS script, being able to actually text message someone a reminder about a webinar, then this will be ideal for you guys. And if you've got little tweaks you want to make for the script, then I don't see any reason why my programmer can't do these tweaks if it's within reason, because I'm benefiting from it too, because I'll be able to use them as well. So
super powerful, because like I mentioned before, you can use like our 3-2-1-M1 rule and get in the 40% attendance rates, but when we've gotten high in the 60 to 70%, it's by using text messaging. So very powerful tool.
By the way, for those of you that are wondering, it'll probably cost you anywhere from 3 cents to 5 cents a text message, and you'll have to plug it in. I use bulk SMS, a service, but yeah, it'll come with instructions. You don't have to use that one. You could use another service and just modify the script if you wanted to. But I'm just saying you'll have to. It's not like we have a magic way of sending SMS text for free. I don't want to give you that wrong impression. It does cost about 5 cents a text, but if you're sending a text to say 100 people and it's only costing you $5, that's nothing when you compare it to making thousands of dollars on a webinar.
Exactly. Hey, we have some questions coming in about how people claim those bonuses, Mark. I just want to point out to everyone right there, to grab those bonuses from Mark, all you need to do is email them at support@affilorama.com. So that's how you'd actually claim that bonus, and you'd need to forward your receipt. You'll get a receipt after you place your order, and forward that over so that they can verify that for you, and that's how you claim those bonuses. So
I wanted to make this available to reward those of you that are here on this particular webinar. So these bonuses, just to reiterate, are available. I'm going to give it 10 minutes from now, and that's going to be the final end to these particular bonuses. So just out of interest though, Joel, how many of those 20 spaces are still remaining?
Yeah, let me just take a look real quick. Give me 1 second, Mark, to take a look.
Sure thing.
Looks like we've got, take a second to count this up. Looks like we've got 11 right now, Mark.
Okay, so there's still a reasonable number of spaces left. So anyway, I'll carry on and take more questions. So how long does it actually start to make money? I get several people asking that question.
Great question. Great question. Everyone wants to know how long it takes to start to make money. Listen, we can go from example of previous students. We can go to examples of people that have done webinars, never done a webinar and have done a webinar for the first time. I'll give you my example. And I mentioned this before. When I got started, I'd never done a webinar before. Before I started, I wanted to do webinars. I did my first webinar within 30 days. My first webinar did $53,000 in sales. We have students who choose some of the different methods. One of them is like the local business marketing method, where they'll sign up clients their first week, their first even couple weeks, because what's really neat about that method, Mark, is you don't actually have to deliver on the webinars when you sign these businesses up, right? You usually have about a month, 2 months before you actually need to deliver on those. So many students are going out there signing up these local businesses and making money just within their first couple of weeks. So it really depends on you. You can take this as fast as you want. You can take it as slow as you want. It's really kind of up to you, but it's very doable. I guess that's what I do want to say. It's not something that's going to take forever. So.
Okay, and I've had people saying, "What can I outsource some of this?" And if so, what's the best parts to outsource?
Yeah, and Mark, you kind of mentioned already you're going to throw in that outsourcing bonus for people that grab it in a second. But this is what's great. You can outsource so much of this. Let me tell you how I outsource some of this. When I do joint venture webinars, I have people out there in the Philippines doing research for me and identifying specific joint venture partners that I would like to do deals with. They research, they gather the information, phone numbers and all that. So I just have this nice list of people who we want to contact. You can outsource anything that you need to put together, like if your registration pages, anything that you're not good at, outsource it. That's what I always say. So, that's what sometimes people, they get hung up on things and say, I don't know how to do that. And that's when you can outsource it for just basically pennies on the hour many times to do these kind of tasks. So.
And what's better to sell, products or services? I've had that asked by a few people too.
It just depends. I mean, there's a lot of products that are sold on webinars. There's a lot of services that are sold on webinars. And people might be wondering, well, what's a service that's sold on a webinar? Well, you've got tax services. You've got, think about doctors. Weight loss surgeons, that's a perfect example. Here's these surgeons, they offer these services to do like weight loss surgery, gastric bypass. They charge, they'll make, $30,000 from just one patient for one service, one medical procedure. And so that's a great service right there. They don't need a whole lot sales, they just need a couple a month to do well for them. So that's a great service. So the bottom line is there's no real clear answer. There's no really one better. Is products or services better? I think they're equal.
Yeah, I mean, another service is coaching. I know one guy anyway that goes ahead and at the end of a training webinar where he'll be teaching internet marketing advice, he'll go ahead and leave a form for you to fill out where you can get a private consultation with him for free. But people are aware, he makes them aware that this private consultation, while it's free, that he's going to try and upsell them into his coaching. So they're kind of well aware when they're getting it that they'll get a really good 30-minute coaching session, and then he'll talk to them about being their personal coach, and then he'll sell his coaching for anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000. So that's another thing that can happen.
Yeah.
And I see that you've knocked off a few copies there, so there's just 6 left, are there?
Just want to update everyone. We got six left. Yeah, right. 6 left. We just got a few minutes left more for Mark's bonus, so I just want to remind everyone of that. By the way, everyone, write that order link down, onedaysellnow.com/Mark, because what happens, Mark, is a lot of times this screen disappears here in a minute, and then people forget and they can't remember how to get back to that. And you got to take advantage. If you can't get to that link, you're going to miss out. So.
Okay, I'm just going to take a couple more questions, and then I'm sorry if we haven't got to your question. If let's say, okay, I'm going to take 2 more questions, but before that, could you just tell people what your help desk link is, just in case someone's got a question that's burning and they need to have that answered.
Exactly. In fact, let me just write it.
They want to go that after the webinar, perhaps.
Yeah, let me actually write it right here on the screen. It's helpdesk321.com. So helpdesk helpdesk321.com. It's going to take me a second to write this here. Helpdesk321.com. And right there, just click on New Ticket, and that will take you right in, and we'll get right to our support department. And here's the
Nice
thing.
handwriting.
Yeah, there we go. That's writing with my mouse right there. Helpdesk321.com. And so here's the thing, Mark. I actually scan our help desk all the time because it's important to me that we're taking care of our members. So many times you'll even see a response from me in there. So, like I said, we want to take care of you. So if you have additional questions, you feel free to pop them into there. If those of you. Oh, and one thing I do want to mention, if I haven't mentioned this already, Mark, those of you that took advantage of the offer, and thank you, looking forward to working with all of you. One of the things I always tell people, Mark, is to go in and go to our forums area. There's a place in there where you can introduce yourself to me. Just go in, introduce yourself to the members, let us know a little bit about you and how we can help you with your goals. And we always respond to those. So that's one thing for those of you to take advantage and joined the system today. So.
Okay, so anyway, before taking those last couple of questions that I've already sort of decided which ones they are. So if you've got any other questions, please don't type them in now. Just put them into the help desk if you need to. But okay, so I just want to quickly mention that, just to remind you guys, Joel's got the training, the templates, the back-end system to drive auto webinars, and more importantly, he's got group coaching and mentoring that gives you the opportunity to get your specific questions answered by Joel himself. Now, I always think when you have the opportunity to get your specific questions answered, it's very powerful, because you may have something holding you back that other people don't, but that one answer or two or whatever can be the difference between you getting moving in the right direction a whole lot faster. Now, I know I already mentioned this already, but I just want to quickly point it out again before taking these last couple of questions. The product researcher feature is, in a lot of ways, it's actually worth the entire cost of the product alone, because Joel's team will find people and products to promote, and all you'll have to do is call them up and make a deal. So you don't have to have a product right now, and sometimes that's the hardest thing for a new marketer to find and feel good about. Plus, those templates were created out of webinars that were proven money makers, so it's super quick to put together for your webinar and start making money. And that lead capture feature is incredible. Look, I've got my own team, and we can get some wild stuff done, but this tool alone makes it easy to build your list so that you can make money month after month. And plus, guys, if you're into local marketing, which is one of the fastest growing segments online, Joel's local business is a no-brainer for building your business. I'm telling you, this is the future of internet marketing. If you want to get your hands on everything while you're getting such a great deal, and don't forget, it's not just the fact that you're getting the bonuses from me and the bonuses from Joel, which I think are incredible. It's not just that you're getting, though. You're also getting special pricing as well, because it's normally $2,000, this particular product, but for this webinar only, it's selling at a discount. So I thought I'd mention that. But even if you don't like the sound of your own voice, you can make a boatload of money with webinars while giving people great value at the same time by giving out so much free content on webinars too. So get in at the special price and make sure that you get all these bonuses right now. And by the way, the coaching and the mentoring, Joel, am I right in saying that it starts this week? So
Yep.
Okay, so it starts this week, so it's really important. You don't really want to be late in on this anyway, and it means you don't have to wait if you want to get a fast start. Now you can do that and get going right now. And I want to emphasize this is a business. It's not overnight money, but it does not actually take all that long either. It's a system with an exciting opportunity to take advantage of, and if you're the type that likes to jump on the stuff of the future, then this is the way to go. And you guys, if you've been on my list for a while, any of them, no matter what the niche is, whether it's internet marketing, dating, or other niches, you'll see that I've been doing webinars for some time, and the reason is because they work amazingly well, not just for making sales, although they do make great sales, but also because it helps you build a better relationship with those that are on your list, which gives you a huge competitive advantage in the long run. So without that said, I just want to take a couple more questions. I've got Okay, I've got someone asking, does this work for someone who has no list?
That's a great question. We kind of talked about that a second ago, but you know what? It's perfect because a lot of people will say, "Oh, I have to have a list to do anything," and you know what? You don't. Just to give you an example, like I said, when we started the Keyword Rockstar webinars, we didn't do that on our own lists. All right? We started doing that over other people's lists. You do not need a list. And here's the other thing: there are a lot of people out there that will promote your webinar for you if they've got a good quality product, if they know that you stand behind it. It's not like what everyone thinks. It's like, I'll only promote for you if you promote for me. That's not how it works if you've got a good quality product. So, and there's other things you can do. You do not have to have a list. That's definitely a misconception that a lot of people think that they have to have a list to be successful in anything in internet marketing, and especially with webinars, you do not have to have a list. So,
usually when I'm deciding if I'm going to promote somebody else's webinar, like from a joint venture partner's point of view, I'll let you know that one thing I like to do is I just like to make sure that on that webinar that person is giving a lot of valuable free content. So if I know, I mean, sure, I want to make sales, don't get me wrong, but I want to know that on the webinar that great information is being taught. If you can, and John teaches you exactly how to do this. This is his strategy. You've seen this on this webinar. He's taught some fantastic information on this particular webinar. In fact, he went for over an hour teaching you free information, solid information, before he even mentioned the fact that he had a product to sell you. That's an ideal webinar, okay? And the webinars that I turn people down on are where people, maybe 10 minutes into the webinar, they start on this pitch for their product, and it ends up being a 1 or 2 hour sales pitch. You know, that's not ideal, because then that ends up meaning that I end up with a worse relationship with my list at the end of the webinar. Ideally for me, I want to send out a webinar, have please my list, give them great content, and make sales at the same time. You know, so yeah, even if you can't reciprocate to people, they will be interested in getting you on a webinar if you can provide great value to their list, so it helps them look good to their lists.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so I had someone asking, Mark, why would you want a webinar promotion manager? Well, honestly, I'm trying really hard, but I just can't get enough webinars made fast enough. Because, I mean, honestly, I've got a lot on my plate, and I'm in a lot of different niches. I am trying hard to get my staff to help script out webinars, but it's tricky because they're not necessarily motivated. They're not webinar people. Like you guys out there, some of you guys are possibly really interested in doing webinars, whereas I might be taking a staff member who is a writer and trying to get them to do a webinar for me, and it's completely different than if I had someone that was actually really interested in marketing and in running webinars. You know, it's a totally different kettle of fish. So yeah, I have been having some success doing it that way, but yeah, I mean, like I've got I've got lists where I may have no webinars in the sequence, or I may have 1 or 2 webinars in the sequence, and you know what, I don't know any reason why I couldn't have several more placed into the sequence if they were to give good value. And the other side of things is, you know, if I'm paying you if I'm paying a webinar promotion manager a percentage, then they were to go out there and find joint venture partners that are willing to, you know, get them on a webinar and then they promote my product. I'm making money that I wouldn't have otherwise made. So it's not, you know, it seems like a no-brainer to me. Why would you want a webinar promotion manager, Joel? You tell me.
You know, here's the thing. It's all about leveraging your time and that. So, I've created products too as well that just sitting there, and I know if I spend a little more time and effort. You know, I was told one time by a really good marketer friend of mine. He said, "Listen, I see all these internet marketers out there, and they're making a huge mistake. They create a product, and then they move on to something else and create another product. But you know what? If they just had one person that they hired or they partnered with, and all they did was focused on the promotion of that one product, the continued promotion of that one product, they would make hundreds and hundreds of thousands of more dollars over the lifespan of that product." And a webinar promotion manager is like the answer to that, because it's not something I have to hire, right? It's someone that's coming in and doing a joint venture deal with me on that. So it's a phenomenal way to get going, and there's a lot of people that want webinar promotion managers. And what's great about it, Mark, is it's a new thing. A lot of people don't even know about a webinar promotion manager yet. So it's like, the concept is just so appealing to them. You very rarely ever get turned down, as when you approach it the right way. So.
Awesome. Well, I think what I'll do is I'll wrap it up from here.
Great.
I just want to say a really big thank you for being on this particular webinar. And sorry guys if I haven't managed to get to your question. Just simply visit helpdesk321.com and enter your question in there if you happen to have further questions. Joel, I just want to say a really big thank you for taking the time to be on this webinar and giving such great value to everybody on this webinar. Whether they join your product or not, you've given away a lot of great information about making money from webinars, and which I hope's opened a lot of people's minds and have got your wheels turning there, guys, that are listening to this.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for letting me teach you today. Thanks again, Mark, for inviting me. Appreciate taking your time out of your busy day and wherever you are in the world today. So thank you so much, Mark, for inviting me here. Let's do it again sometime.
All right, guys, take action with what you learn, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now, everybody.